You good?
Welcome to episode 30 of the Endless Enjoyment Podcast.
I didn't realize we were on a milestone episode.
It is also the 10th episode we've shot in Nashville, Tennessee.
Whoa.
Hey.
Ew.
And I am your host, Vincenzo. And today I'm here with 3 guests. Unfortunately, Kevin is a little tired. He worked 3 doubles the last 3 days, so he needs to get his rest. And we're going to film this anyways. So we are here today with only a few of the members of the Low Blow, correct?
3 out of 4.
75% of the low blow.
75%.
Just one more.
But it feels like we're missing more with Taylor gone because he's just such a sweet boy.
Yeah, we're like the low blow right now.
Are you saying that Taylor's the owl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just owl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he brings the pain.
So you guys want to tell us a little bit about the band and like how it came together, and a little bit about like each one of you?
Yeah.
You can start.
Oh, okay. Well, Connor and I have been playing music together for, like a decade now.
Mm-hmm.
We started playing music together in a little shitty blues band in Bowling Green, Kentucky, because we met at a blues jam. And then we were put in this little youth blues band called Moreee, and we played together in that band for like 5 years, maybe
5, 6.
5 or 6 years. And we just like eventually were like, hey, like this isn't really, this is cool as like a thing to do when we're kids, but like we were both growing up. He was in college, and it was just kind of one of those things where it was like, I don't really want to do this anymore. It's not like really like, it doesn't feel like I have any ownership over it because it was just like covers and 3 or 4 hour shows, and we were just like kind of wanted to do something else. And so me and then the bass player at the current time for Moreee, Daniel, we started a new project that we were going to be like the idea was like neo soul kind of stuff, because that was kind of like what we listened to, like St. Paul and I'm trying to like Hiatus Coyote kind of stuff. And then it just kind of naturally over the years, as we kind of kept like changing lineups and removing some of the older members that were like, it wasn't the same members as the previous band. We left some people behind, but we eventually kind of landed on a lineup that was like, recording ready, and we put out Capsize with just people that we met at the audio program at MTSU, because we were all members of the audio program at MTSU. That's pretty much.
You all attended MTSU?
Mm-hmm. I never finished the program because I was like so not like feeling school, but it was like,
but like especially during COVID,
we all technically went there.
We got that 75% graduation rate, which
Yeah.
I think is better. I think that's better than MTSU.
We're all working
usual one,
but we all do work in the industry still, technically. Well, I guess you don't do it as much because you got the bar gig, but like I do audio stuff still. Josh does audio stuff still. Taylor does audio and AV stuff still. Yeah.
So you all are the same age?
No. Connor is
close.
How old are you? You're 24?
Damn, you don't even know how
old. I don't know how old I am. I had to think about it. You're 24? 23?
23. I'm 24.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
I'm 25.
And then Taylor is also 24.
I'll die soon.
Because Taylor is like 8 days older than me.
Really?
Oh, I did. I think I forgot that you guys were that close. Yeah, but no, we're all kind of within the same. Like that's how we knew each other. Is like, class. Well, I knew Connor because he's my sibling basically, but.
How did you meet Josh?
Oh, what a gross.
What a freaky story.
I was before I was in the low blow. Probably it was when I went to college. I started playing in just like a fuck ton of bands like all the time. I was kind of a fill-in guy, just like anybody I knew who needed bass players for shows and stuff, I'd fill in, and I had like 3 bands of my own that I was writing for. And eventually that all kind of stopped at one point, and I found myself in just like a couple bands, which was very new because I'm like, I don't have 9 things going on right now. And their bass player that they had stepped away and actually said, hey, you should get Josh to do that.
Yeah. Recommended Josh's.
Yeah, and I had
So like that was after Capsize was recorded.
Right
after it was
Capsize
recorded.
came out.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was playing shows with them for a minute, and then that old bass player played the release show for Capsize as like a send off.
Josh was already
which
playing
was really
shows
nice.
with us by the time that release show happened.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to think back on now, but
Yeah.
still feels.
We actually had to make the decision that like, was Josh gonna play the release show with us?
Not-
Yeah.
Because you didn't write on that project.
No, I had nothing to do with
Yeah.
that entire record.
But then got brought on, and then
But you're on the live version.
am-
Hey.
yeah, we
Josh is on the live version.
Yeah.
Hey.
But yeah, so I've been in that band for 3 years now,
Yeah,
something like
would,
that.
that would be right.
The COVID years.
For real.
Right.
COVID
Been
years
longer.
plus a little. COVID years plus a little.
Yeah.
We've been a band during COVID longer than we've been a band not during COVID.
Yeah. And then Taylor
That is how time works.
joined just a little bit before me, not too much. So we are the
He
newest
joined
members.
halfway through the recording process of Capsize.
Yeah.
There's one
yeah.
song on Capsize that he didn't record drums on,
Yeah.
which is still a weird decision, but not
We
one,
didn't
not
really
that we
produce
really
the
made
record.
it.
It wasn't really self-produced. It was more so our bass player at the time who produced it. Which
It's
did a
a
good job.
it's a chapter
Left it
of
for you guys to perform.
yeah. It was just before we had like a real identity as a band, and so a lot of it was kind of decided, by people that were more, I think, experienced in forming that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
To say that the producer for that project, made decisions that like were bad, I would think would be inaccurate, because I think that it was more so just that like his vision was just very specific, and we just didn't really speak up about a lot of it. I definitely didn't when I could have, but yeah, it was cool.
I mean, I'm still happy with the
I'm still happy with it.
yeah. It's
I still haven't listened to it yet. Honestly,
damn.
I did listen to the Hurting Healing.
Oh,
There
I'm glad
you
you
go.
listened to
There
that.
you go.
Yeah, it's the more recent one.
Yeah,
I really like Capsize, and I can say that because I had nothing to do with it. I really appreciate it. And before I joined the band, I had just seen them play their first show, and it was in a basement in Nashville. And I was
Is that Hollywood?
It was a Hollywood hideout. I was friends with the guy who lived there and did house shows there, and I was fucking blown away by how they played. And I went up, and I knew Connor and Taylor at the time, and I knew they were playing in a couple other bands, and I said to them, "This is the fucking band, y'all. Like, if none of these other bands work out, you fucking stick with the low blow, because this shit is special." And
I didn't know that you'd said that.
and I still
Yeah.
think that.
Yeah.
I think they're all special.
It's very sweet. Thank you, Josh.
It was a really pretty night.
Yeah.
That was also kind of our introduction into like DIY, which for years and years and years for us, it was playing fucking bars.
Dude, yeah, we never even brushed with that scene because
like house shows.
Yeah, we never fucking played
Not in
that
high
shit.
school, no.
No, because we were playing old head shows where it was like you're playing like 3-4 hour sets at a bar when you're fucking 16, dude.
and
And
younger.
then it's just like weird ass old people. No offense to old people, but these old people were fucking weird.
The Low Blow is officially a pro old people band. Just not those old
Breaking
people.
If those old people saw me now, they would go back to my baby self in the crib and smother me.
Jeez.
That's the kind of people that came to those shows.
Yeah.
God damn.
but I think getting into that community also partially informed the like musical change.
Oh, 1,000. Yeah, that's why like when you listen to Capsize, it's gonna sound so much different than like Hurting Healing. It's just a completely different vibe.
In what way did it help you guys?
Like the DIY scene, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it made a lot of us more comfortable in doing music that we really felt passionate about.
Redefine the rules for us too.
Yeah, like you have a fucking tappy ass riff and one person might go, oh, that's not good unless it's for like a math rock song. And it's like, nah, you can fucking just toss it somewhere. Like, I promise if you write with that intention and what vibe you're going for, you're going to get there. Mm-hmm. And then with the LP, we got to do that, which is cool.
Yeah. Hurting Healing was kind of like, it was a progression in my songwriting, because a lot of those songs were songs that I had written during quarantine by myself.
You're singing on it?
Yeah. And I had written a lot of them. We didn't really get a chance to arrange a lot of those songs as a band, because a lot of it was just kind of build as you go. It was a lot of like, the way I would describe it is it's like a collaborative sculpture, where like I feel like LP one is more like, which you haven't heard because it's not out yet, but is more like construction, where it's like we know exactly what we're aiming for, and we have like all of our shit figured out. With Hurting Healing, it was very much like, okay, here's like a loose idea, and here's some materials, and we're just gonna kind of throw shit and hope it lands right. Which it ended up. I feel really happy with Hurting Healing.
Yeah, Hurting Healing as an EP was also an experiment for us, because Pat had skeletons of songs that she was sending, but nothing was really like fully fledged out. And we took all those song ideas and we were all in a room for, I think, a weekend. And we were like, okay, we're going to make these full band songs, record it, and mix it in like 7 days. Like that whole thing was done in 7 days, and we didn't start with a song that was done. Like it was just maybe sooner was done, but it was like, how fast can we possibly do this and not overthink it, not overproduce it, not sit with it, and just what happens when we try to do this as fast as humanly possible. And we wanted it to kind of have a lo-fi feel anyway, just because Capsize is very produced. And I think it was a kind of a reaction to that, of just like, Capsize was very produced. The EP or the LP that we kind of had stuff for was going to be not as produced, but you know, it's going to sound professional. We kind of want this to be our, you know, for lack of a better term, like bedroom EP, of just like, it sounds very independent, and it was, and we did it all incredibly quickly. And
it's got to be just like letting it just come off naturally. And
and we didn't really do anything else that week other than just make those 7 songs? 5 songs.
That was
There's like intros and stuff. I miss.
Yeah.
As I say, 5?
It's like 5.5.
Yeah.
It was one of the. What I will say is like, you making like, I hate the whole question of like, if you have any advice you give to young artists, it's like, no, I don't fucking have shit to say to them. But I don't. I love
old people. We hate young artists.
No, I love young people. It's just that I don't feel like I am ever qualified to say anything on anything. But if I were to give, I'm chicken shit. If I were to give any sort of advice to like young artists, is like if you ever feel like you're stuck, just sit in a room with like your creative outlet, or like your like some way of measuring your creative output, and just fucking let it flow from you, and just like I think what you said, it was the most raw creative energy that we've ever like shared as a group, because it was literally like we had just lost our keys player from he had departed earlier in the year, and so all the synths and all the keys parts we had to come up with, and then I was doing a lot of synth design at that point in time, and I was brand new to it, so it was kind of like throwing somebody into the deep end when they don't know how to swim, and be like, bitch, you better not die.
Yeah, you better figure it out.
Yeah, and so it was a lot of that, and then you guys helped with the arrangement a lot. Like there was some parts where Josh was like, "Oh, I had what was it with prayers? You were literally like, oh, I heard in my. Am I crazy that you heard in your sleep the strings part for prayers, or am I imagining that?
Yeah,
wrong?
I had a dream where I heard the finished song. And so I came back the next day and I'm like, okay, it needs this, and this.
It's bizarre.
It's this string part that goes dun 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 da 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 dun dun da 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 dun. It needs that, and it needs to be about here. in the stereo spectrum, it needs to be about there, and this kind of stuff. And
it was some weird shit.
That's the shit that happens to your brain when you do nothing but work on a record for 7 days straight.
It's like spiritual psychosis.
Because we thought that song was like done.
Oh yeah,
because we had all the guitars and drums and bass recorded. And
yeah,
we
had the big section done.
Yeah, we thought
so
that
we were
song
like,
was done.
Keep it sparse,
and then I had a dream where that song was finished and it had all these bells and whistles and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's what it needs. Just slap that on there. It's
pretty dope.
And I don't know how to design synths, so I'm just like, it sounds like this and has this kind of tone.
Yeah, and
it goes here. Y'all figure that out.
Or no, you did this. You programmed that part, didn't you?
Yeah, it was me and Taylor because
I wasn't there.
Old school production.
No, I was there.
Not production. Old school percussion days. Remembering how to play keys and
Yeah.
going, oh yeah, this is fun.
Yeah,
That stuff's above my head. It's too techie for me.
that EP was just like so fucking fun to make, and like it was just weird. It was just so weird and fast too, because like. We are normally people that sit on shit. The LP1, we've been sitting on this shit for 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, I think that Hurting Healing also helped us get back into the swing of actually finishing the LP, but also, I don't know. I think Hurting Healing helped us continue to exist as a band.
Dude, we were in a bad way.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Whenever that keys player left for reasons, we'll say.
We will not get into that.
Yeah, but point is,
good.
it was not good. It was not amicable,
Yeah.
and it came at a really fucking shit time.
Dude, it was like
because it was like
blew up on TikTok.
yeah. Well, but around then, but it was also supposed to be like a week and a half, 2 weeks before we recorded the final tracks for the album.
I forgot about
that we had at this point already been working on for 2 fucking years.
Yeah, that shit was almost finished.
Yeah. And then whenever all that happened, what did we not fucking re-record on the album?
We recorded literally.
I was about to say, I know all my guitar tracks are new.
Yeah.
From that point, the beginning of 2021, we have re-recorded the entire.
Yeah, there's not one.
There's not one original track.
There's not one file that's the same.
No.
Re-recorded the entire album, and that's
hilarious.
the second or third time we re-recorded it.
And
but
it was a lot of, okay, what did that keys player do on that record that we didn't like, and we thought that's all that it was going to be, was, okay, like, he did this, like, how would we approach that? And it became, this song doesn't feel right to us. Why does it not feel right? Oh, that's because that's what he kind of wanted. And so a lot of those songs came out a lot different and a lot different feeling, because we were just like, what do we actually want from
there
this?
was like a heaviness to the record that was like, not heaviness, I mean like a like storm cloud over the head of the record, where it kind of just felt like we were bummed out by the songs at one point. We were just like, it to me it felt like it felt like a project you had started with your ex, and then your ex is no longer in your life, and it's like, well, I guess I got to finish this project.
Relatable.
But it was just like, these things don't belong to us as nearly as much as we want them to. And so it was literally like we had to rewrite parts of this album to feel more like we had our own identity in it. And I remember talking about the synth design stuff. I think there was a week where Josh and I sat down and literally I redid all of the synth and MIDI and like strings and keys for the entire record in like the span of like 1 to 2 weeks. Because I was unemployed at the time, and it was literally like we would just get up. It was like every day we would get up and we would drive to Taylor's house and we would just sit there on that fucking MIDI keyboard for hours, bitch. Just fucking hours. Just How many sine wave keyboards can I make? And it was just fucking. But yeah, that's just. It definitely was like a really weird process having to re-record all that. But I think it's very like telling that we were kind of in a really good place as like a lineup, because it's just been so. Every decision has been very like natural and like balanced for us since that lineup change. Mm-hmm. It's like you always talk about like the whole idea of like with bands is like they have growing pains, where it's like, you know, you hear these stories of like, you know, like especially with like Foo Fighters, with like people getting kicked out, brought back in, things like that, and then eventually you hit like a groove, and it's like, dude, like we hit our groove. Like
this is what it should have been.
Like it's just like it's so frictionless. Like it's just like anytime there's a creative decision that needs to be made, like there have been moments where it's like it's difficult, but like not in the same way that it was like in the early days, where it was like you couldn't say shit to anybody because everyone would get their feelings hurt. And now it's just like, I don't really like that. I think we could do something cooler. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then we do it. Then it's fine.
A lot of that is just maturity. Like, you know, you
it's
spend...
not the end of the world. Someone doesn't like your idea.
Yeah,
you could help, you know, change it for the better.
I have shitty ideas all the time.
Especially, it also helps that it's a fucking lengthy record.
Yeah.
If there's one idea that someone doesn't like, you know, there's over an hour of other material of maybe ideas you came up with that they did
exactly.
Like, you know, you have to fucking weigh it.
The guy's producing it too. The record, Tate Mercer.
Yes.
We sent him this record, and we're like, I'm pretty sure everything's gonna be in here. And then halfway through mixing the record, he sends us an email. He's like, "Hey guys, I can't put all this all this.
Too many ideas.
There's too many ideas here. I'm gonna just cut some shit out." And we were like, "Yeah, that's probably."
And then there were only like a couple times later where it's like, no, that thing you cut out, we do want that. We do want that one thing. Other than that, it's
that one
like,
was a good one.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's
But-
like, no, I agree. Yeah, it sounds good. Good
But
job.
we are wrapping up, getting mixes back for this thing, and hopefully it comes out very early next year.
That'd be cool.
We
That's
will
my
see.
question. I say, when do you think it comes
Depends.
out?
I was about to say, we've talked a lot about a record that isn't out yet.
Depends on how pitching to labels
Yeah,
and
that's
people
our-
who will help us.
That's our
goes.
next thing, is pitching to labels, and we don't know how to do that other than sending a bunch of emails.
Y'all use DistroKid?
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
I'm pretty sure there's a new feature on DistroKid that like allows you to pitch to labels through
Really?
DistroKid.
That's fucking silly, goofy,
That's
crazy, wild.
fascinating. Yeah, we need to look into
That's
those.
very funny.
Insane.
But that, and then like trying to get like a manager and like be legit and like try to get opening slots with other bands.
Yeah.
And all that shit is very hard, and we're very stupid. So we'll see how that
I'm sure
goes.
very busy as well.
Well, yeah.
No, yeah, we're all very busy people, and that's kind of where it's like hard to like live the music lifestyle, because it's like
work to live, live to work.
yeah, like
You're battling for your
we're
independence.
people. You know, like we're people with our own lives. Even me, someone who like most of the stuff I do is gig economy, work from home shit. Like I still like that takes up a considerable amount of my time, and I wouldn't be able to like just like drop it all. Like people always talk about this shit where it's like, oh, you know, like if you want to be like, you know, successful in your field, just like quit everything and work out. And I'm like, dude, I will starve to death.
As I say, it's like
I gotta pay rent.
Like I will be cold on the damn street.
it's like, but what about my dogs, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, what
People
about
who
the
say that
dogs?
live with their
What about my
parents.
dogs?
I guess I could live with my parents, but that'd be
Tragic.
that'd be tragic. I'm 23. I would
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Not that living with your parents is a bad thing. It's just
We're very against living with
We-
you. That's how we love old people.
Fuck
we hate
generational
young people,
homes.
and we especially hate young people
Multi-generation
who
homes, that's what it
live
is.
with their parents.
yeah.
I feel honestly I love my parents, and they like helped me get to where I am.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah, no, same.
But the best thing I ever did was move as far away, not as far away as possible, but
Dude,
move
yeah.
far away.
Considerably.
It gets you out of that high school headspace. I found that like when I moved back in with my parents during COVID, I felt like I was regressing back to like my high school mindset. I was like in the same house as my parents, couldn't be myself because I had to just be like a parent friendly version of me constantly. Yeah, you're a different fucking person. Yeah.
You're always hanging out with the same people
Mm-hmm.
that you grew up around, which is like, I have the same few friends that hang out, but now we're all so old and like doing our own things. Like I get to see my friends maybe once or twice a week.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'm just home with my parents. And half time with the security jobs, like my parents are working all day and I'm working all night. So it's like, I never see them anyway.
Yeah. My partner is works third shift. So we're nocturnal people. So it's literally like, trying to get in contact with my parents. I'm like, hey, it's 9 a.m. I'm about to go to bed. Love you. Good night. Good night. I'll see you soon, I guess. It's just, no, that's like so true though. Moving is like a huge part of, I think I needed to move back in with y'all. Like, whenever I did, because we would not have fucking finished this record.
No, absolutely.
We would not have finished this record. Back in September of 2021 is when I moved back in, because I lived with my parents because of COVID, because I'm high risk. And I was like, that year, no, I think that year apart was great. I matured a lot that year and like definitely like got through some like insecurities that like just not having lived with other people a lot, like were like very triggered by like, living with people that had lived with other people before, because I just was not good at it. And then like I moved back in September, and then it was like immediately just a better vibe all around, less stress, and then we just got to work on the record again. And this is like restarting like for the third time this fucking long ass.
It is impressive
record.
that we actually did it.
Yeah.
It's not out yet.
I know.
Something bad could still happen.
Jeez, knock on some wood.
There's no wood in this house.
Yeah.
I wish Taylor was here. Taylor's last name is Wood. That's why.
Yeah, we always knock on him all the time.
When you say,
I mean, he knocks on himself at this point.
He does knock on
just goes-
himself.
He's with the joke now.
Yeah.
I missed that. I miss that boy. I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, he be working constantly.
He fucking works.
Yeah.
shout him out.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out Taylor. I'm looking at
Wood.
Cameron. Taylor, I would give you the biggest little smooch on the little head right now.
Let's say shout out Taylor.
Little forehead smooch. He's bald too, so it'd be all of his head is forehead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how that works.
That's how that works, yeah.
All right, so I had something that you guys remind me when you're talking about the recording of Healing Hurting, is that like you just want it to be like raw and just focus in and knock it out. So I relate to that strong because I'm a rapper. I write. I rap. I sing a little bit. Like I do like. I'm not strictly hip hop. I've done like more alternative rap, like rock stuff too. But like hip hop's where like my lane is. And something like I've noticed, well, that I do a lot, and I've talked about it a lot too, is that like I will just, if I have a song that I like, I'm gonna knock it out and then move past it, and it's on to the next idea, because my next idea could be my best idea.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Because I know a lot of people that are perfectionists and they like just take forever with like one song, dude. It's like, which is fine. It's like it might come out great, you know. And there are artists I do know that do come out great, but in my opinion, I think, you know, the more consistent you are at even just putting something out and just taking that at bat, taking that swing, and just like putting something out there, and then just moving on to the next idea, and just actually, and then you just grow naturally through that process.
Yeah, I agree with that. I honestly wish that we had done that more with this record, because I think we were a little bit I don't know if perfectionist is the right word. We just, what I was going to say is that I think with that philosophy, it's like so important to have that instinct of like just pushing ideas out and like getting it out. And it's also important to have a level of quality control too, but it's hard to toe that line sometimes, especially when you don't have identity with your own music. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like us a year, you know, I feel like at the stage we're at as a band right now is the exact moment in time and level that we needed to be at before we were going to be able to truly make this record what we wanted it to be. Yeah. Does that make any sense? Like,
and
I feel like
skill level wise too,
skill level wise, maturity level, and like identity wise, it's like if we were making a rap album, it's like, if I didn't really know what the fuck, we were like, what the vibe was, I don't know why we would be a rap trio. If we were making a rap, if all of us were in a rap group together,
if we were Brockhampton,
which would be cool. If we were Brockhampton and we were like putting together this project and like putting shit out, it's like one thing that like I think that level of creative like just output is something that I would absolutely gun for. But another thing that I would make sure is that we know exactly that like what we're doing is like true to us, which sounds so Disney Channel, but like true to us and true to our taste.
And
I
we
think
need to really follow our hearts and let it shine.
and
I think.
be ourselves.
And you know what? Maybe one day we'll be the counselors at Camp Rock.
Yeah, we will be
Whoa.
Lemonade Mouth.
That's a good fucking movie.
Lemonade Mouth. We watched it the other day. It holds up. Yeah,
We've seen that movie. Josh, you and I have watched that movie together twice now.
yeah.
And I will defend that movie with my dying breaths. It's so bad. I love it.
Yeah, She's So Gone, top tier song.
Have you seen Lemonade
S
Mouth?
tier.
Like when it came out.
Yeah.
When I was-
Okay, you gotta rewatch that shit.
I swear to God.
Talk about a real cross section of the music industry as it exists today. And
I was watching Big Time Rush recently, and
Yo.
that was hilarious.
oh,
to
I'm
watch.
mutuals with the guy that plays Gustavo.
Really?
I'm mutuals with
so
that fucking guy.
hilarious.
Stephen K. Glickman, dude.
He's so funny.
Is he
Yeah.
nice?
I haven't really talked to him. We're just like we follow each other on TikTok
Oh.
because he's a singer.
Oh.
He's the one who has that he has a remix of that fucking Gnarls Barkley song. Our cover of it's not a remix. It's not like oh remix. No, he has a cover of a fucking I may be crazy.
Oh, really?
Really good.
That song rocks.
He's good.
But it's funny that you were like getting into some like corny sayings. Like this is a common reoccurrence on the pod. Like the most cliche things are just like the things that kind of just are very true in my opinion.
Yeah, that's why people keep saying that shit.
Yeah.
They make
That's
sense.
so true. No, I mean, I find that's definitely true. As you become an adult, it's like all these annoying ass things that adults used to say to me. I'm like, oh man, now as an adult, like that's so fucking like love should be easy. It shouldn't be hard. It's like, yeah, dude. Like actually, yeah, that is so true. I used to think that was like, no, it actually does need to be hard. No,
I need to hate my partner.
it doesn't need to be that at all. But what I was saying is that like being true to taste is so important. Like I think like playing music, making shit that you like. People are always dogging on people for listening to their own music. It's like
You won't listen to it then.
if you won't, yeah, it's like if you made a sandwich with all your favorite ingredients. Like you'd want to taste that shit, right? Like, is that not crazy to just be?
Donald Glover has a bit about that.
Oh, really? Does he?
It's like no one makes fun of the Subway sandwich guy when he comes home and makes himself a sandwich. Like, ooh, getting a little arrogant, aren't we?
Oh, really? That's funny. Well, I probably picked it up from him, but I think that's so silly. Like, I love listening to our music. I'm like, oh my god, I get to listen to me and my friends and all the cool things that we made. Like,
Yeah.
Especially
I
listening
listen
to
to-
the growth too.
oh,
Listen
dude,
to-
fuck yeah! I love listening to Somewhere Off in the Distance and then going right into War and just being like,
War, a song on the new album.
War song on the new album.
and the other one an older.
And the other one.
The other one, a really old one.
For context, I'm a translator.
And I'm a trans. All right, let's
Later.
You're too funny.
But I don't know. It's also been satisfying because it is about playing what you actually want to fucking play.
Yeah.
You know, as a guitar player, I like playing fucking loud, distorted riffs. That's fucking dope. You know, a few years of lightly distorted 7 chords. Yeah, that was fun and all.
Jimi Hendrix chords.
I was about to say, like, just
5 years.
Hendrix chords and fucking songs in E using 7 chords. Like, that's great. But, I don't know, fuck, I'm enjoying myself a hell of a lot more now.
I think that's important. That's like
Yeah.
a measure of success. I think is if you're able
Yeah.
to do what you actually want to do, want to be doing.
That's where identity comes from too. Like sure, it's like you don't want to be an impersonator of other artists, but like I think there's nothing wrong with following in the footsteps of artists that you really love and respect. Because then I think your identity naturally follows from that. Because then it's like, okay, now I know where I'm at sonically. How do I fit into this picture? You know what I mean? Like, there's no hiding that. Like, if you listen to our new shit, you're gonna hear the hotelier. You're gonna hear like some Death Cab influence on Taylor's parts. You're gonna hear some like Spanish love songs influence. You're gonna hear like all these different like
a shit ton of My Chem influence.
A shit ton of My Chem,
everywhere.
A shit ton of BT Bam influence. You're gonna hear all that shit, but it's not gonna be like one of those things where you're like, oh, this band's doing an impression of this. No. It's clearly our own thing. It's just like you can hear, because all art is. Like, there's no such thing as, like, original art. Like,
no one's ever had an original thought.
I mean, everything comes from somewhere.
Yeah, everything
all
is
inspired. Music comes from, you know.
Yeah, it's a picture of a flower, not just an impression of something you just saw. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's like a painting of a flower. I mean, not a picture of a flower.
So I don't get why people like shit on sampling. Literally every like
dude,
no, and sampling is its own fucking art form. Like doing that in a way that is aiding you in your own music is fucking cool. Yeah. Yeah,
some of the first fucking, and also it adds accessibility to an incredibly important art form. Like some of the first shit that you make sometimes as a musician when you're in this day and age. I remember the first songs I was making were little garage band loops on my parents' shitty Mac, you know what I mean? Back in like 2011, you know, now those would not hold up. Unfortunately. But like those garage band loops, you know, like that was what got me into music production, and now look where I'm at. I'm still kind of not really doing much with it.
But I'm older.
And I dropped out of MTSU's audio program.
And it's not on a 2011 Mac.
And it's not on a 2011
Mac now.
Yeah, that's true. I do have a newer Mac.
Be impressive if it was still on fucking that one though.
It would be impressive because that thing is dead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One day it just died. That's a true story. Desktop Mac. We were like, we brought it in. We were like, hey, we think the cord is not working, and they were like, you're not gonna like this, but it's actually just that the whole fucker is gone.
And
it's just in hell.
And you went, why? And they said,
everything
we don't know
dies,
anything. Baby. That's a fact.
They looked me in the eyes and they said, everything dies.
Maybe that's a fact.
They said the man at the Apple store looked me in the eyes, and he goes, everything is temporary. Everything dies at some point. Can you zoom in on my face?
You had ominous strings under that.
Your parents will die one day, and I'll be at their funeral, and I'll say, "I told you so." That's what he said to me.
Then I'll start beatboxing,
and then I'll start like now.
The birth of the rap trio.
That's exactly right. And now that man is Brockhampton.
He is Brockhampton.
He's now a whole group.
He
that
actually
was Kevin Abstract.
He split into multiple different fragmented realities and turned into what we now collectively know as Brockhampton. Thank you for
your own judgment.
Yeah.
Shout out Brockhampton. I love that band.
That rock band.
That rock band, Brockhampton.
That boy band.
Rockhampton.
Rockhampton. Oh boy.
Brockhampton.
All right. So I want to say though, I really did enjoy listening to Hurt and Healing.
Thank you.
And it reminds me a little bit, just a little bit, not a ton, but of the band Movements. You guys like Movements?
Oh, no kidding.
Movements.
That's an interesting one.
I love.
We've never got that.
No, I get it for sure.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
So I hadn't discovered them till I moved down here like 6 months ago. I heard them in an Uber, and so I was like, "Ooh, what the hell?"
Yeah.
I grew up listening to strictly hip hop,
yeah.
And then like in college, I was taking classes on rock and stuff, and I was friends with people playing rock.
Yeah.
And we had actually a good like local scene there, like where we had a ton of house shows.
Yeah.
And people were performing all the time. Getting off track. Losing my train of thought.
No, that's an important genre to implement into the hip hop world right now because it's such a big. I mean, alt music is getting fucking huge, and it's all up in rap and shit too now.
Okay, so like and then like artists like Peep and like Juice
Right.
WRLD
Yeah.
like, really like bridge that like alternative rock.
Trippy Red.
I love Trippy so much.
Yeah.
And then so I heard that, and then I fell in love with the album "Feel Something" by Movements.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing. Like,
I haven't listened to Movements.
You should.
Like-
It's great.
That's so funny that you said that because I'm like, I've never even listened to them. So that's really funny that you said that.
So yeah, just similar in like the emo indie alternative rock.
Sure,
vibe.
sure.
Like obviously yours is like unique to you, and it's
Yeah.
not like you were saying,
No,
like, an imitation of what they are.
I totally get.
but-
Well, and so that's not the only band that's like happened to us where it's like you like I'd never heard them before, but then after the fact, there's a band that sounds a lot like it. Flat Sound. If you ever listen to Flat Sound, half of those songs like Replaced could be a Flat Sound song if you've never listened
I've
to
never
them.
listened to them.
They, like if you listen to like literally any Flat Sound song, you'll be like, holy shit. Like they definitely will listen to that. I never heard Flat Sound before I wrote any of the songs or produced any of the songs.
It kind of
for-
happened with Dashboard Confessional.
Yeah, no, dude, yeah,
You hadn't heard that band.
yeah. People compared us to Dashboard, and I was like, I literally have never listened to that band in my fucking life.
Yeah, and then you told me that, and I was like, "Oh, you gotta listen to Dashboard. That's a great ass band." And then I put it on, and then Pat was like, "Holy shit,
This is
I write-
us."
I write and sing exactly like that."
Yeah.
It happens.
It happens
Weird.
all the time. It's so weird that happens. But thank you for saying that about Movements.
I love that record. I think it's
that
brilliant.
is honestly like it came out 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear it till this year, and it is one of the best albums I've heard in a very long time.
Yeah, I heard it probably when it first came out because the music video got really big.
Which one?
What's that fucking song called? The single off of it.
I don't even know. There's a few videos. There's Daylily and then
Daylily.
Yeah, that's like the-
that song.
Oh, I think I
yeah,
know that
the single.
That's like
Yeah.
that's like my
Yeah.
song of
and
the
it's
year.
fucking
Yeah.
incredible. That's a
love that
great song.
I shed many a tear to that song.
Yeah. But the video got really popular, and so I saw that and got
Yeah.
really into that band. I really appreciate that band too because they kind of bridge a gap. I feel like there's a weird thing, and this may be very particular, but there's a weird thing between like the indie rock realm and like the Warped Tour like emo kid like Hot Topic-y kind of realm, and I feel like they bridge it really well because they were like playing Warped Tour and like all those like Hot Topic-y kind of kids were like loved that band, but also like indie rock like older 30-year-old like guitar pedal dudes really love that band.
That's what indie rock became, and still kind of
no,
fucking
but I
is.
think that was a really interesting. I think that was a really interesting like band for that because I was like, it really fits both sides of that really well. And I don't know. I
really
think that was a cool thing that band did.
I think it's super unique that time because me personally, I won't say hate. Like I won't listen to anything that's too heavy.
Yeah.
Anything that's too country, too heavy, not for me.
Okay.
Like I like all genres pretty much. Now
We could get you into heavy shit. It would have to be gradual, but
But I
we
just
could
need-
do
No,
it.
I think you got to start with some fucking caveman riffs.
But I think
That
like
shit-
Yeah.
Movements just really hits it where it's just like it's a little heavy. It's
Yeah.
a little emo.
Yeah.
It's
Start
just
with
like
caveman
Some
riffs, you get
slam.
more
Sweet
complex.
spot.
Yeah.
It's very emotional. That is a sad record.
Sorry, we had a side conversation about how if you like rap, I feel like you'd really like slam or like
Yeah, like just dumb hardcore.
just like really boom boom don 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 don.
Yeah.
That shit's sick.
What is a panic chord if not the skirt of hardcore?
I was gonna say tritones and panic chords. There's your fucking song.
Yeah.
And it's dope.
Yeah.
I think it's
sick.
cool.
We really like hardcore.
Yeah,
really-
but not
yeah.
It's a weird thing to say that it influences us, but I think it absolutely does.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's where I stole all my fucking guitar tone.
We have screams in this new record.
There's yelling.
There's yelling and
yelling.
screaming.
We get
It's,
mad.
it's rude.
It's mean.
yeah.
It's rude.
It's
That's
rude.
funny.
It's impolite.
It's belligerent.
yeah.
No, we have an angry song,
Yeah, that's new for us.
which
We have a song where we're mad.
most of our songs are more like. I feel like the vibe of most of our songs is like, no, no.
It's angry crying. It's like you made me mad. Meh.
Yeah, but this
That's-
one's like, fuck you, you made me mad.
But this one is
This one's
like,
like I will kill the. Never mind. This one is
don't threaten a public figure.
this. Yeah, the one I'm really excited. Man, no one's gonna know what we're talking about.
For like most of this.
So they're like, oh, that record that you've never fucking that's never
When you
happened.
put out the record, you can just post this.
It will
clip
recontextualize, yeah.
Or if anyone listening knows a label, we'll give you the record.
Yeah, if you run
also
a label,
give
if you
it
know
to
a label, if you've heard of a label.
John F. Music Label.
John
Yeah.
F. Music Label with lots of money.
Yeah, you
Please.
should sign. Hey, it's already done. The record's done. It's mixed. It's
We have a music
mastered.
video.
You don't have to put any money into this shit. Just put your name on it.
Put your name on it.
And
so
maybe,
that people
Maybe
that
some
don't
tour
know us hear it.
support.
Yeah.
as I say, maybe just throw us on a tour. I don't know. Crazy idea.
I'll whip in
I'd
Nene.
hate that. Oh
yeah.
no.
I'll throw ass.
I'll throw ass and I'll do a verse.
Yeah. I'll start rapping. I'll
start
start
rapping.
beatboxing.
I'll start beatboxing. Josh will start beatboxing.
Yeah.
I'll start rapping.
Me and Taylor, we will kiss. There we go. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. There you go.
Yeah. So now if you don't sign us, you're homophobic. Just saying.
It's not queer baiting if Taylor is into it.
Anyway, what was the question?
So say where
Yeah,
we
I
at?
don't know how we
I
got
like that
there.
movements record.
Yeah, that's all I said.
I like that record a lot.
Yeah, so it was a good one. But that's why I do think that fuck. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I was gonna say my favorite song though, or the one that caught my eye the most, was "Wear and Tear" off the project.
That's
the
a big one that we play live and people have a good time and dance about and mosh
And sing along.
sing and yell and cry and shit their
Piss
pants.
and piss.
Yeah.
Pee little
I'm glad
puddles
we
on the
went there
ground.
at the
Just
same
the whole
time.
circle of life.
Yeah.
They slip on each other's piss puddles.
They frolic.
Live and die
They frolic.
together.
Yeah, they follow the whole circle of life. They regress to childhood and then become old people, which we love, by the way.
Fuck young people.
And that's what they do when we play that
Hey yo,
song.
fuck young people in their bright minds.
Did that sell the
Your
song well
youth
enough?
in the future that they are.
No. And that's another one too that we kind of have arranged a little bit differently for live shows, so that it's a little bit more exciting earlier on, kind of gets bigger, stuff like that.
Yeah, that shit. We do it big live. We go, "Wah," you know.
Yeah, like that.
Like that. We make it sound like that. And people,
I'm glad you
know,
like that song though. What about it did you connect with? Or did you just like the way it sounded or whatever?
Yeah, it just gets the overall sound, and I guess the part where like there's a little bit of screaming in it, and
Yeah.
with, like the harmony there or whatever. Just like
Yeah. I know what you mean. I don't wanna
yeah,
feel anything.
yeah. And I can relate to that. Feeling feelings you don't want to feel. Or
Yeah, that's
just frustrated with it and just like angsty. Fucking
That's an old song
God
too,
damn.
dude. I wrote that song when I was 16, and then I rewrote it for our album because I came up with that bridge, and then I was like, "Fuck!" And then I rewrote the lyrics for the verses because, that song is comes from a very dark place. I mean, it's an upbeat song, but like. No, it's not really all that upbeat. But like it gets
It is
upbeat.
live.
It is live.
Yeah.
But like there's something so funny to me about like I matched with somebody on Tinder and they were like, "Oh my god." Someone I had matched with on Tinder, not like that night, but like as I kept talking to them, they like eventually found out that I was in this band because I told, they asked me about it because it was in my bio. And then I showed them this song, and they're like, "Oh my god, this is so fun!" And then they listen to it again, and they're like, "Oh, oh,
Sorry.
Are you? Hey, I'm glad you don't want to be dead anymore, and I'm glad you don't want to be dead anymore either."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a sad song. That EP is very sad. There's nothing about that EP that is like outwardly happy. I think other than maybe beautiful, which even that is like tragic as fuck because the beginning half of the song is like, "My whole fucking life has been a goddamn lie," and then the end is like, "Oh, but it's all good."
Yeah, you work through those emotions. You got to feel through those emotions instead of ignoring them, I think.
Yeah, and that's why we decided to call it Hurting Healing.
Yeah, it's the two.
It's a hurting in the yeah.
Coin.
Well, you got it.
Am I selling the EP well enough?
I feel like both actually never really end. You know, hurting or healing.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
That's why there's a comma.
Just yeah, I mean, because I don't know, I've been going through it the last couple of years.
Hurting and healing are the same thing sometimes.
Probably why I'm way more into like alternative, more emo music now.
Yeah.
Like you would never have caught me listening to that in high school or anything.
Right.
But just I don't know where
I love the idea of someone catching you listening to it. Like, what are you doing? Like sitting in a corner with like a CD player. I'm sorry.
It's like, I promise I wasn't listening to Mike Kim. I promise I wasn't listening to Mike Kim.
You switch.
Please don't beat my ass.
You switch to porn because it's easier to explain.
I wasn't crying to Peep.
Oh, for real. Dude, I cried so many times to Peep.
I wasn't listening to Star Shopping.
But those things, when you work through those emotions, you feel a million times better crying to like a great song, and then you're just like, wow, I feel so much better.
Try fucking writing that shit, man, and putting it out. Like, I was in a
get yourself to cry by writing.
What I mean is like more so literally like the release process of that record was so therapeutic for me because like I was in a very bad way whenever we were writing. When I was writing that shit, I was going through one of the worst mental health like periods I think of my life. Like I think there's never been like times in my life where I've like been like, oh, I'm scared of myself, like where I was like, oh, I'm afraid of like my like where I'm at. And that period of time I was like I had no friend, like I wasn't talking to anybody. I was just like in my room all the time. And that was I was scared. I was like genuinely scared of like where I was at or where I could go or where I could end up. And then putting that record together with you guys and then putting it out, it's like it took that shit and it distanced it from me. It was like you record this like incredibly dark emotional thing and it's like, this is no longer mine now that it's in the world. Like it's genuinely not mine at all anymore. It's everyone else's, because my relationship to those songs does not exist in the same way that it will for anybody else that listens to it. You know what I mean? Like that's why people get so like when people get so defensive of like the meanings of their songs because it's like, oh no one's gonna get it, no one gets me. It's like, no dude, like they're gonna get it, they're just not gonna get it in the way that you want them to probably, and that's okay because when you put a record out it's not yours, like those songs aren't yours anymore and it's fully theirs, you know what I mean?
What you're trying to say.
Yeah, like it allows me to compartmentalize those feelings that I had before and like just like throw them somewhere else and then be like, hey, look at this, like it's the paint with which I got to paint a new picture that I can then look back at and be like, that was a very interesting time in my life where I was very sad and very not in a good place. That's why like when people like talk about the songs that we put out in the past, to me, I don't look back at them like, I think with like, it's almost like thinking of like a memory. Like it's like, oh, I remember when I wrote that, it was a very, very bad time, but now I don't really feel that way anymore. It's kind of like,
it might help somebody else.
Yeah, like this record that we, the record that we're sitting on, like all of these songs are like 2-3 years old, except for like a couple, and I don't relate to hardly any of them anymore. Like in terms of like where I was at when I originally wrote them, but like I can't wait to put them out and have people be able to like have a relationship to them, because then they're not mine anymore and they're not ours anymore. It's just like it's theirs and we are performing it, we're making it, but like it's not like us anymore, it's like them, you know.
I relate to that strongly because the music I was making 2 years ago compared to now, like I only make like, even if I have more emotional songs, it's all about moving to a more positive space, and most of the music I'm making now is just super chill, positive vibes, just growing, learning to love life. Like the project I'm working on right now is called Wake Up and Enjoy, and it's about like, fuck whatever's bringing you down. You need to take responsibility for your life and enjoy it. Like why do anything else? It's gonna hold you back.
Fuck yeah. And and a year from now you're gonna look back on this project and you're gonna be like, What a wonderful memory.
Mm-hmm.
And now
got
I'm
me
in
to where I'm gonna be way happier.
Yeah.
in a different place completely. Yeah, no, completely.
I hope it does, because that shows, like, even like what you were saying, it just shows that growth that through putting that stuff out and working through it, super therapeutic. And
Even positive feelings you can channel into those avenues. I find I have such a hard time accessing feelings sometimes that like writing is sometimes the only way I can express my own feelings to myself. Where like I'll be like, it's literally like it sounds so corny, but it's like sometimes I don't know what I'm feeling, and then I'll write them out, my feelings, and then I'll be like, oh shit. Like I'll look at the paper and I'll be like, that sucks. Like
it's hard to make sense.
That's
of
bad.
I didn't even know I felt that shit.
Yeah. No, seriously. I remember like sometimes I'll be listening to Hurting Heel, or like I'll be listening to like songs that I've written, and I'm like, I hope I'm okay, because it literally sounds like someone else is like speaking through me. Because I just don't have that level of access to my own. There's like a roadblock or something. But like if I could express it in art, it's a little bit easier for me to be like, you know what I mean?
So with like the projects that I was putting out like 2 years ago, it even looking back on it now, it's like a little bit cringy to me, because it's like so painfully obvious about like a certain relationship that I went through.
Yeah.
And what makes me keep it up and like not just delete it, I can go back and see the growth from those songs.
Yeah.
And B, I hope it helps somebody else, even though it's like, this is not me anymore, and it helped me get through that shit. I hope it will help at least one other person. If it helps one other person, then
dude, completely.
that's it.
Because there's always somebody going through that. Like,
yeah, or they can use the words and make it mean something that they are going through.
yeah.
Yeah,
Bring their own
it's
life
really
experience.
subjective to like what people, interpret shit as, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
With Sooner off of that EP, that was the TikTok song that blew up.
Really?
And the thing about that song is that like it has almost nothing to do with the thing that I think a lot of people think it's about, which a lot of people heard Sooner, and like I would say a good like 30% of the people that heard Sooner for the first time and like on TikTok and people who consumed it like would comment and be like, this reminds me of like my grandpa who died, or like losing my dog, or like losing a family member. Sooner is about like a breakup where you're the one who sucks. It's about a breakup where like you're like, oh, I fucked everything up, and like I'm glad that you're like moving on from me, because I clearly like am not ready for this. But people would hear that song and they'd be like, oh, I think I lost you sooner than I wanted to. I know someone I lost sooner than I wanted to. My aunt Shelly or some shit. You know what I mean?
Rip Aunt Shelly.
Rip Aunt Shelly. Rip Aunt Shelly. No, but
we love the old people. I tell
We
you.
love old people.
and we love Aunt Shelly.
And yes, in particular.
May she rest in peace.
All right.
Yeah.
Just gotta say quick, I just lost my aunt recently, so just shout out my aunt to Debbie. She's the GOAT. God bless her.
Shout out Aunt Debbie. We love you.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Sorry to hear that.
I appreciate y'all, but that just reminded me of that. She was super supportive of like me and my music and stuff, and
That's awesome.
God bless her.
Yeah.
That's
Didn't mean to cut you off.
But no,
No,
that's
no.
like. But what I was saying is that people could take
Has their own relationship with
their
that
own
song,
relationship
yeah.
to the song, and that's
Yeah.
what I mean when I say like it's not my fucking shit. You know, like I don't. Oh, my breakup that happened in 2020. Oh, you know, like I don't care anymore. It's like, but by the time we put that song out, I was fully over it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because like my life had moved past that. It's because the process of recording it and like putting into a song, which then became like a logistical thing where it was like, okay, where are we putting this? Where are we putting this? I'm going to mix this and listen to it 100 times. That problem seemed a lot smaller once it was like, okay, now I got to worry about getting this on DistroKid. You know what I mean? Like it was just a lot smaller, which I know probably doesn't sound healthy, but I think what I mean is more so that like when you are able to like channel these negative feelings into something creative or something positive, then I think it is like a positive way of like serving as an outlet for those either negative, positive, or overwhelming feelings.
It's called alchemy, I think, right? That's like just turning
Alchemy.
something negative into positive.
Love that. We love that witchy shit.
Yes. I've been making a lot of references to like being a wizard in my music recently. Just,
That's
like,
fucking
that's
sick.
fucking
manifesting shit, scripting shit, writing shit down.
Very witchy. This next low blow album, I'm gonna throw some witchy shit in it.
We're gonna put, Yo, LP2 is gonna have spells.
You're gonna have magical orbs and shit.
Yeah, a cauldron maybe.
We're gonna have a song that's gonna be called "Bubble Bubble Toil and Trouble."
Yeah,
That's not true.
it's gonna rip.
It's gonna rip.
All right. So, let's talk a little bit more about like the roles y'all play in the band. Because you guys have like touched upon like what you guys do, but like is there more like everyone has like I call myself a man of many hats. Something I've talked about a lot on the pod.
Ooh,
Like, I'm filming the.
Connor does have a lot of hats.
But I'm saying like I film the pod, I edit the pod.
Yeah.
I'm like running like I'm pretty much like managing myself as an artist and like running
Executive producer or technical producer.
just many different roles. I'm throwing shows, I'm performing at the shows, I'm like getting artists to like just doing so much different shit. Like what do y'all like what's each of your lanes? Let's start with Connor over there.
Yeah. Well, first off, I play guitar. That's helpful. As far as like the management of the band, currently, we would like to find an actual manager because, as Josh said earlier, we kind of suck at it.
We're bad managers.
We're not good at it. However, whenever it comes to like accepting shows or trying to book shows, stuff like that, we are splitting it fairly evenly, figuring out how to get merch whenever your merch quote is it's gonna be $55 a shirt.
We've not had good luck with merch recently.
That was really cool today.
We had a merch moment today where it was like, "Hi, merch printer. We would like to do a very normal thing that a lot of bands do, which is where they get a digital print on the front and back and sleeves." And then the merch printer was like, "If you ever come in here," they didn't actually say this, but they're like, "If you ever send me a goddamn email like this again, I will kill you with my bare hands. Jesus. I will drive my thumbs into your eyes and just keep going." It was literally just like, they were like, "Oh, that cost $1 million."
Well, they were like, "Okay, so you want to do 30 of those? Cool. It's gonna be 55, 60 per each shirt." And it's like, what the fuck do you mean?
Make any money off that?
Like,
Yeah.
oh, what?
What the
Sell
fuck
it
are we
for
gonna charge $100 for a
yeah,
shirt?
like,
Yeah.
we're not doing $100 fucking shirt. Anyways,
We need to find a different company.
yeah, we do.
I just don't know how other bands do that shit and then charge $20 for their shirts. I don't know.
Find a different company.
There's
Go
no
find a different
way.
company.
There's no way it costs them that. Anyways, sorry. This is a sidebar. Continue.
Sorry,
about
It's just the more you print on the more prints you do, the more it's gonna cost. Right?
And that makes sense.
we were
But
expecting
it
it to be like
shouldn't
25.
Yeah, like
Maybe.
expensive for sure, but not $60 expensive per shirt.
At
I've been
cost.
doing a lot
At
of
cost.
similar research. I recently just opened up a Shopify store for the Endless Enjoyment brand.
Hell yeah.
Very
This is
cool.
a sweatshirt from it right here.
It looks comfortable as fuck.
It's super.
It's
comfortable.
embroidered.
It is
It
embroidered.
is embroidered as well. It's unreleased. I'm doing a winter drop.
It smells like lavender.
I'm doing a winter
Yeah,
drop.
I can smell
in a
it from
couple
here.
weeks.
It's great.
But
It's laced with baby powder so your skin doesn't get irritated.
Yeah.
it's not true.
Oh, sorry. It's not.
It's actually enchanted. It'll make all your dreams come true.
That
And
is
you'll
true.
find
Enchanted with
love.
endless enjoyment.
Yeah,
Yes.
you'll make $1 million probably.
Bro.
Yeah,
Anyways.
you gotta say probably so they can't sue you when
True,
it doesn't do that
probably
shit.
that stuff's all true.
Yeah.
Probably.
But so we got trucker hats, long sleeves, t-shirts, and tanks available now.
Let's fucking go.
But
Buy that shit.
I get that, like just looking at prices and just figuring out all that shit is super difficult.
Do you get your shit made to order? Like people order.
That's what
it online?
Shopify is, right?
Yeah, so it's like
It's like Teespring kind of where you like.
I don't know. I'm not sure what like Spring's what you guys use, right?
Yeah, we use
Yeah.
Spring. Yeah.
So I don't know anything about that at all. But
That's okay.
Like I just never heard of it. Maybe I've heard of it, but like I never did the research into that.
Yeah.
It sounds similar.
Yeah, but it's like so dropshipping, whatever, they order it and that whatever they order just gets made alone.
Yes.
So you're not like
Yeah,
Same idea.
making
Yeah.
30 shirts, but you can only sell 5 of them.
I'm starting to
Yeah.
think maybe the only way we can do that shirt is through like a made to order system.
I don't
We'll
think
see.
that's true.
We'll work it out.
We'll
But-
figure it out. But sorry,
It sucks. Point is,
We don't need to bog this down with
know,
shirt
we got-
logistics.
sorry.
hey, if you want a cool shirt,
Come to a show.
Tell us where to get
tell
it
us-
from.
And if you have a record label and know someone who works at a record label and also are a shirt manufacturer and also are a manager, please hit us up. If you are specifically those 3 things,
You're
Right.
perfect.
not 3 separate, it would really help if you were the same person.
And also, if you work at the Mapco Mart down the road from where we live, and your name is Gibby, I am so sorry that I didn't have the money to pay for that monster the other night, and thank you for covering me there.
Hey,
You were
shout
really
out.
cool about that. I was in the car. I heard the story immediately after.
I
That was a
literally had a
genuine-
panic attack
needed a
because
monster
I
bag.
thought you were cute, and I was like really nervous.
Shout out, Gibby.
Hey,
Shout out Gibby.
shout
Gibby's
out.
gonna see this and be like, "I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah.
But anyways,
What do you do?
Anyways, anyways, as far as like the just like everyday operations, it does get split up fairly evenly, which is also part of why manager would probably be a good idea because all of us are busy people and
you can
that gets
focus on-
really difficult.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
focus on what you're best at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then as far as the musical
Sleeping.
side of things, people bring in essentially skeletons for songs, usually Pat, and everybody will kind of sit there and give their input. So essentially, people writing their own parts. For me, that means sitting down with a guitar and recording tracks for a couple hours and trying not to die.
Connor records a lot of guitar.
Yeah, like
Connor
you-
makes
like-
a goddamn not landscape. What's the word? Soundscape out of guitars.
Yeah, so it's usually like 20 to 30 guitar tracks per each song. Because that's how I write, is by doing that. It's arrangement. It's fun.
Connor's an arranger.
It makes me want to die, though. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it.
I can relate to that, dude. When I'm like finding beats for me to like write on, it has to be a beat that I do not mind listening to 100+ times.
Yeah.
Because I literally might listen to a beat over that many, like over the span of it being written and being done, definitely easily over 100 times. Plus times before that happens. It's like I can't get sick of hearing this beat. It's got to be some. That's why I have so many like playlists of like beats too, where it's like maybe yes, double yes. Like it's like how good are these beats? Like it has to make me want to write. Like and then if it's especially if it's like a shorter song, there's only so much I can write in that time. Then it's a matter of making it flow. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot that goes into it.
Oh, well, because I mean, I imagine that like I don't do rap stuff anymore. I used to produce for a lot of like smaller rappers in my hometown, but like I remember that process. A lot of it is just like if the vibe is off, like even just a little bit, that song is never gonna fucking see the light of day. Is what I've learned. Like if like for the artist, I mean like there was constant times where I'd make shitty beats. And then, like, my friends would, like, record... And my friends... I'd make shitty beats, and my friends would record on them, and then that song would be in my Google Drive, and it's still there, and it'll never be anywhere else. Because they were like, yeah, it just wasn't... I didn't feel it. It wasn't great.
Yeah, that's what I'm just gonna go wherever I'm like, whatever I feel like recording, I'm gonna go record because there's plenty. Like I have so many producers on Instagram sending me beats now, and it's like I literally tell them now when they reach out to me, I'm working on a lot of music. I can't promise I'll make something on this unless I like really really like it, and if I do, you'll know because I'll get it done. You know.
Hell yeah.
Sometimes on Instagram, producers send us beats, and we're like, we're a band.
we make our own.
We can't
What do
use
you
these,
want us
but
to do?
thank you. Yeah.
People ask me to feature on songs. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do on your fucking trap song, dude? What am I going to do?
Sing the
Vocalize.
What am I going to do on the hook?
Sing.
All right, here I go. I don't know.
I thought you were really going to whip something out there.
I was like, sorry.
My voice is too silly for that, I feel.
No.
Okay.
You should do it.
Okay.
I think that'd be epic.
Okay. All right, Josh, what do you do?
I play
With
bass.
arms wide open.
I play,
Yes, you got it. You figured it out.
yeah. I play bass, and I do my fair share of booking stuff. I'm usually the one in the group chat being like, hey, we got this coming up. Hey, we got to do this. Don't forget about this. Hey,
Josh is
everybody.
the make-doer.
I'm the make doer. I
Hey, y'all
won't
wanna
do the
come on a
stuff, but I'll
podcast?
make everybody else do it. I'm the pusher. I push people.
You have the most. You have the most experience with that sort of stuff, I would say.
It's because I've been in 400 fucking bands.
Well, and also you have a certain. I almost said je ne sais quoi. You have a certain level of like disciplinary behavior that my neuroses do not possess. And my neurology is not wired for. Particularly, you have an incredible memory of like short-term things where it's like, hey, there's that thing that we need to do, and I'm like, that thing stopped existing in my mind because I haven't seen anything about it, and I lack object permanence because I'm a baby. And you're like, oh no, that's the thing that if we don't do it, we're gonna lose $1 million. I'm like, oh okay.
Yeah, I keep up with the $1 million deals.
Shout out to record labels pounding down your door.
Yeah, give us $1 million.
We're making millions of dollars. Come on.
We are a very valuable asset to
Come get it on.
Yeah, and
to
we're
your
making millions of
financial
dollars,
endeavors.
and it'd just be fun if you also took the money.
Yeah, we would.
Monopoly money, that is.
Yeah, we're very rich in Monopoly money.
So Josh, you got another band that you play in too, right?
Yeah, me and Connor and Taylor have another band that we're starting up.
I'm not in it.
Yeah, we didn't invite Pat. Yeah, we have another band called Caregiver, which we just put out our first EP, and we're playing our first show this week
On Thursday.
on
I'm
Thursday
hyped.
at Dark Matter in Nashville.
By the time
If you're
this is
Hey, this podcast will come out, and that show will have already happened.
But
Well-
you guys also have the East Side Bowl show coming up too, right?
The low
That
blow
is the low
does.
blow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the low blow. But hey, listen, if you want to go to the Caregiver show, watch this, hear me talk about it, and then invent a time machine and go back. What days does this come out?
Probably Sunday or Monday.
Probably Sunday or Monday. So if you're in Sunday or Monday, go back to Thursday.
Thursday. Correct.
Thursday
Correct.
and go to Dark Matter and pay $10-ish. Bring a time machine and $10-ish
And drugs.
and drugs. You can bring all the. They don't have security there. You can bring all the drugs you want. And then.
I mean, it's true.
It's true. They don't have security. Bring whatever you want. don't do that. And then
Don't go back in time.
Juno's gonna watch this. So say Juno's gonna watch this and just be like,
Don't go
yeah,
back.
I'm making Juno's life harder. She's gonna be like, fuck. But yeah, come to the show and watch us and sing along and mosh.
please, Mosh.
So you got to listen to the record first. Listen to it, then build a time. Learn the words, then build a time machine, then go to Dark Matter with your substances, and then sing and then mosh.
And then if you can't go to that, then go to the East Side Bowl on the 30th with Sonder Bombs.
Which isn't a time
And-
machine is not required for that.
And then
yeah,
Topiary Creatures
you should
and the
really
Low
just
Blow.
do both.
Yeah.
Obviously make the time machine. I mean, because you could probably, I guess, use that later or whatever. You could even go to the Caregiver show and then instantly fast forward time
To the
to the Sonderbomb show. So you just back to back, That
And the
sounds dope.
Sonderbomb show is on the
30th
of
October.
October.
Of
This
October.
month, the current month we're
Of
in.
the month that it is. It's on the 30th of October, the day before Halloween.
It's a Sunday.
It's on a Sunday, correct?
Correct.
And we are playing with Topiary Creatures, which is a very great local band who we love a lot, and they're very nice to us and others. And Sonder Bombs, a band that is awesome and I've liked for a very long time. And it is very cool that we're playing with them because they're a good ass band.
And it's
it
also
is,
very cool that it's at East Side Bowl.
and it's very cool that it's at East Side Bowl
Yeah,
because
that's a new spot, right?
it's very cool. They have a parking lot which venues don't have anymore.
I know, especially in the city. Yeah, I mean,
They have a park. It's like a big ass. They got a gas station in there too.
What the fuck?
Not
Like
in
the-
it.
Okay,
Not
I was
in
going to say,
it.
fuck.
They keep the gas outside.
I was like, holy, what?
Bro,
And
got
they
Matco
do-
in this.
They do have security there, so don't bring drugs, or you could probably bring drugs. They don't check that hard. But you can probably bring don't bring gas inside.
This is like
the venue.
through an actual booking company, and they're gonna watch this
Bleep it out, whatever.
and just go, all right. One of the bands encouraged people to bring drugs, and
I'm
also
sorry.
it was the straight edge.
I said
fucking
don't
dude.
bring gas.
And also is the straight edge dude saying bring drugs?
Gas can mean
Clearly
drugs.
joking.
On International Edge Day of all days.
It is International Edge Day. Shout out if you're straight edge. It is International Edge Day.
Shout out to edging.
Keep not doing drugs.
Hey, that
Shout out
takes a
all
lot
the-
to be able to do it.
Shout-
I could not.
If you listen to this podcast, I don't know if you're straight. What is happening to this?
Oh no!
This is so tragic.
Oh, this is the worst moment that's ever happened.
All right, so where were we?
Bring gas to the. Don't bring gas to the venue. I accidentally said to bring it. That was a mistake. Don't bring it.
And shout out straight edge bands.
Shout out straight edge bands.
Fucking No Cure, Inclination.
No Cure is so good.
No Cure is so fucking tight.
Oh, I had a question. So is Caregiver like similar vibes?
No, not at all.
No.
It's a heavy band.
It's black and
You would
shoegazy.
You would no straight up. You would hate
It is black and shoegazy post hardcore, which is
I don't know if that means anything to you. It is heavy and loud and reverby
and abrasive,
and abrasive,
but pretty sometimes.
but pretty sometimes, but mostly abrasive,
And
it's fun and fast.
Yeah.
And
Except for when it's slow.
except for when it's slow. And Jay, who writes the songs, writes very hard guitar parts, and I'm not very good at guitar, so it's hard. Anyway, I play bass in the low blow, and what else do I do? That's about it. I don't contribute much. Pat, your turn. I'm a pusher.
Josh also contributes a lot.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on you. When I said I'm a pusher earlier, I'm like, that's a reference to something, and I can't remember what it is. It's Mean Girls. Tina Fey's the teacher. She says, I'm a pusher. I push people. And then Lindsay Lohan, whose name is Katie in that movie, starts a rumor in the burn book. Of course, we all know this. We've all seen the movie. I'm just recapping what we all know. She tells the school via the burn book that Tina Fey is a drug pusher and sells drugs. And then the cops raid Tina Fey's house. All right, Pat, it's your turn.
And it's real sad.
What do you do?
Did they find drugs?
No, they don't find drugs. She doesn't sell drugs.
No, she
It's
just
a
pushes
rumor.
people to
She
do
pushes
things.
people, and then
I've seen
Not
Mean
drugs,
Girls maybe
people,
once.
not drugs.
sometimes words get twisted. Okay, you got to rewatch Mean Girls, and you got to rewatch what was it? Lemonade Mouth.
Oh, and also you should watch Halloween Ends.
All three basically
Camp Rock.
They're all the same movie.
All three of those movies are the same movie.
You don't have to watch Camp Rock. Camp Rock sucks. I'll say it.
What about the second one?
Sucks.
Okay.
Josh also, I would like to say, contributes a lot of the writing, like lyrically. I would say probably like if we're ranking in terms of like contribution, like lyrically, you're probably like second.
I do be writing lyrics.
Yeah. But what I do is I write a lot of lyrics, I write a lot of songs, and then I sing, and then I play guitar sometimes. Most of the time. I make a lot of the graphics for the band because I went to graphic school.
That's helpful.
Yeah, it's good to have an onboard graphics person.
T-shirts.
T-shirts. I make a lot of the T-shirts. I don't make the T-shirts. I
Whenever we
design
can
them.
get them sold.
Whenever we can get them for less than $5,000 a shirt. And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else I really do. I do a lot of the synth design and Foley effects stuff for the records. I guess records, this record and the last one. So I guess records plural.
The S is in parentheses. So
I like to think I do a lot of the production design for like the aesthetics of the record and like pulling together like ideas for like the art style and like each record has an aesthetic that is very specific to it, and I'd like to think that I have a pretty big role in pulling together like
Should have put this up. Wasn't expecting this.
That's okay. Is everything okay?
Yeah, it's one of my homies.
Oh, okay. You should invite him on the pod.
He's all the way in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. Drive him down. Skype him in. But yeah, like I got the color palettes, pretty consistent for capsize, and then somewhat for hurting healing. Helped with some of that stuff, and then
You do Twitter.
I do a lot of the Twitter stuff, which it's not exclusively me on the Twitter, but like most of the bullshit.
If it's a joke where you go, I see that was supposed to make me laugh, but unfortunately it
I
didn't
think
hit.
Connor's the only person who doesn't think my tweets are funny in the band, because I think my tweets are
If you
fucking
just
hilarious.
see a tweet that didn't, if you see a tweet that didn't hit,
Reminds me of
Damn.
my neighbor.
That's me when I look at Connor's entire feed. I'm like, damn, this
my
did
feed
not
is great.
See, we
love
don't
my
have
feed.
the same Twitter humor. Connor and I love each other. We make jokes to each other all the time that land, but online we are mortal enemies.
Oh, absolutely.
On Twitter.
Online, I'm Switzerland. I don't get involved.
And Connor's Nazi Germany.
Hey,
Whoa.
I don't think that's
We
true.
should bleep that out.
It was a historical.
I didn't like
Can we
it.
say Nazi on the podcast?
Sure.
Can you make
No, say
historical
no.
references to wars?
Say no. Say no. You can't.
No, I'm just kidding. Connor's not Nazi Germany. Connor's my friend who hates my tweets.
Your twits.
My tweets are very funny.
Hey, on occasion you
Your
got banger.
twits are really witty. Your twitty. Your twitty.
Your
You're
tweets are
Conway Tweety. Sorry,
Twitty Twister.
dude. Your
I don't know why that made me so
I was
excited.
literally about to say your tits are sweet. Your twits are tweet.
Your tits are sweet.
Your twits are teeth.
This reminds me of my neighbor.
Do they have sweet tits?
Damn.
No. He's
Do
like
they think your tits are sweet? Oh.
It's a guy. He's like my.
Hey, you can have tits.
He's like he's like my second dad though, and he always calls Travis Scott Travis Twit for some reason. He just doesn't. He's not.
Isn't
well
there a
informed.
country music artist named Travis Tritt?
I don't know. Maybe
Yes,
that's
there
what he's
is.
thinking of.
Could be.
Basically the same guy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Travis Scott and Travis Tritt are basically
You know
the
what?
same
I don't think I've seen him in the same room. So
same dude.
big if true. Big if true.
No, but yeah, that's kind of what I don't know. I don't really do. I'm a lot of the times I'm an idea person where my creative process is I send so much bullshit to these three poor boys and they have to listen to my terrible underbaked indie folk songs that have to turn into a rock song eventually. And they're like, okay, yeah, I guess we can do that. And they're very, very kind and way too kind to me for listening to all of my ideologue that I send them, but it's a lot. So that's kind of what my role is, I guess, is just annoying people with my ideas and then maybe a third of them working out in the end.
That's the name of the game.
Damn. And I play bass.
Yeah, and I sing and I play guitar. I'm also the feminine energy.
Whoa.
All right.
Don't bring gas to the venue.
Which venue?
Either. Don't bring gas to either venue.
You can't take gas in a time machine.
Yeah, it doesn't go.
Unless
Did you
it's,
invent time machine?
unless it's run by gas.
If it's run by gas, then it works into the.
Did they have gas in the DeLorean? Does that run on gas, or does it?
No,
run
it
on
ran
other
on
shit?
petroleum.
Does the car itself
No, the
run
car
on petroleum?
ran-
ran
that's-
the
isn't
car
that
ran
the-
on gasoline. Well,
Yeah,
except
the
for
car-
in 2, because then it ran on aluminum cans.
Wasn't
and
there
shit.
lightning or some shit?
2, it does run on aluminum cans, and then 3, it doesn't run at all
Because
they
it's
put it in front of a
cowboy.
train,
Yes, correct.
and that's awesome.
Hey, I think all 3 of those movies are.
I think
good
3's
for that.
underrated.
Legendary.
I agree.
I've seen
It
one
gets
of the
shit on
Back
too
to the
much.
Futures, and
Which
it was
one?
the first one.
The first one's the best.
That's a good one to see, so that you know what's happening.
Yeah, if you'd started
Okay.
with 2, no, if you'd started with 3, you'd be real confused.
I always
I
say,
have seen
wow.
parts of 3.
I always say when you're approaching a trilogy of movies, you should start with the first one. So that way you know what's happening. A little tip for the cinephiles out
Josh
there.
tip of the day.
Yeah, you know, if you were to watch like I don't know, the new Halloween trilogy, you probably shouldn't start with kills, you know? I mean, it's a little tricky, especially considering it starts like right off where the last one left off, you know?
Yeah.
Confusing.
We've been on a big Halloween kick. We both just watched the new Halloween. And our consensus is that it isn't very good, but it's awesome and it's good.
I enjoyed it. I liked it.
Yeah. It's got things I don't like, but they're corny enough to where I kind of do like
I was
them.
going to say, for me,
You know what I mean?
It's got things that I don't like, but they did it in such a way to where it almost just wraps back around to where I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. This is great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's kind of a love story.
It is.
It's romantic.
Little plot twist for you. There.
Connor's talking shit about the fact that the first Halloween movie I ever saw was Halloween Kills in theaters with the rest of our friend group. And that is the silliest movie to start the Halloween franchise on.
Number like 12.
I thought it was a standalone. I didn't know it was a part of a trilogy. That's how little I know about Halloween that I was like, oh, a new Halloween movie.
And then
cool.
the movie starts and they're like fleeing the house and everyone's bloody already. And it's like,
I'm like,
whoa,
damn,
hey,
they're
hey,
starting
whoa,
to handle the
hey.
action.
It's like, whoa,
I
what
bet you
happened
wondered
here?
how we got
I
here.
bet they're gonna have a flashback scene, and then they didn't.
Well, they had flashback scenes, but it went way too far back.
Record scratch. I bet you're wondering how.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis just goes, bet you're wondering how I got
Baba
here.
O'Reilly by The Who is playing.
Yeah.
I bet you're wondering how I got here. I'm a fucking murderer. My name is Michael Myers.
That's his catchphrase.
Yeah, he talks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he talks and ends. It's
He talks in the Rob Zombie ones.
He raps in the new one.
When he's
Yeah.
a kid, he does.
That's true.
Not when he's an adult, which makes
Yeah.
it weird.
I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know anything about this, guys. I can't contribute.
It's okay.
I'm not.
We shouldn't be talking about Halloween on the podcast.
I mean, it is October, but
It is October. Watch a scary movie.
Watch all the
I
scary
do not
movies.
like scary movies really at all, and being
What?
not Halloween. Except for, have you ever seen The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix? That is one of the craziest shit. Where's my high five? Come on.
No, I said it because we watched it together.
I have not seen it actually.
Bro,
Somehow.
That is a show I wish I could watch again for the first time, dude.
Yeah.
Watching that shit unfold and come full circle, dude, is
Next
one
record.
of the most incredible things.
Okay, so I'm not going to talk about this too much because it could go another hour, but The Haunting of Hill House is my favorite piece of media ever. I've watched that shit so many times. My next tattoo is going to be a Haunting of Hill House tattoo.
Love it.
The director, Mike Flanagan, is my favorite director ever. Everything he puts
else
out,
has
I'm in
he
love
done?
with. He has 4 Netflix shows.
There's Blind Manor.
Bly Manor, Midnight Mass, and he just put out The Midnight Club, which all of those are fantastic. He did
Incredible.
he did the Shining sequel from a couple years ago.
Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep.
Which
He
is
has a movie
fucking great.
called Oculus, which is great. He has a movie called Hush, which is probably my least favorite, but it's still great. And I'm sure I'm forgetting
Gerald's
something.
Game.
Gerald's Game, which was a
is
Netflix movie.
Batshit insane good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I have to say. I love that series. It's my favorite thing ever.
I can tie this in actually.
Okay.
That Mike Flanagan's work is genuinely so like impactful and like influential to like I want to say at least me and Josh's like creative like palette that like the next record is like largely influenced, not the one that we're putting out next, but the one after that,
LP2.
LP2 is largely influenced by a lot of like Mike Flanagan's work, like genuinely, like
Yeah.
not even kidding, like just as a lover of folk horror and like Victorian paranormal shit, like absolutely there's a lot of influence there, just in the writing and the subject matter and stuff. Just because Mike Flanagan is someone who is able to take, so similar to I think what we do with our music, is that you're able to take a sound or a specific vibe that maybe perhaps does not originally evoke a specific feeling of like emotive contemplation or whatever, but he's able to take like horror and like turn it into something where it's like a deep meditation on, grief, loss, religion, relationships, things like that. And I feel like a lot of the stuff that we kind of do is similar to that, where it's like the songs might not be outwardly somber sounding sometimes. They're maybe a little understated or wistful sounding, but it's able to like pull out themes, I think, that are a little darker or like harder to maybe look directly at. And I think that that's kind of why I think Mike Flanagan is so such an important artist to have around these days. Because like
how I'm interested to hear what that record's gonna sound like. Interested in also how we got even just I brought up Hill House and you guys were like, "Fuck yeah!"
No, dude, I love Mike Flanagan.
Legitimately, that show when it first came out.
I watched it all one night.
So did I. It was actually my brother hit me up, and he's not really a horror person. I'm a horror nerd. I like study like directors and who did lights and makeup on this and that, and I think all three of us are very into that. But my brother's not really into horror that much, but he's like, "Yo, you would love this show." So I was like, "Okay, I'll check it out." And just from the get-go, I was sold on that. And I'm like,
first episode, you're crying.
Yeah, because he just does such a good job of,
especially it's October right now.
Yeah,
you gotta watch
he
it.
does.
I will. I've seen all of his movies. I just haven't seen any of his series. I just
Yeah.
somehow.
Series are where he really shines.
Yeah, it's my favorite shit. But
I mean,
he
movies
does
are
such a good job of characterization of just like scene one of a character introduction. You get what they're about. You get what they've been through.
Care about them.
You instantly care about them, which is incredibly hard to do in film,
With unlikable
especially in
characters, too.
horror movies. Horror movies, usually your characters are, fodder for whoever's going to get killed or haunted or whatever.
I feel like we're getting better at that. Like,
yeah.
Like X, I actually like the fucking characters.
That's
even
true.
though they're, I don't know, they don't do a whole bunch to make you feel that way. But
Yeah, they
How
just
is that
feel
movie?
real.
They just feel
That's
good.
the
It's
one
so
with Kid
good.
Cudi in it, right?
Yeah, he's great in it.
That movie's a really great.
Dude's got a hog.
His dick is in that
takes his
movie.
dick
Yeah, I've heard that.
I don't know if it's his real dick or
That's
if it's
why
a
I've been a
stunt dick,
little
but
hesitant to watch it.
If it's
silhouetted.
his real dick, it's like
It's one of those
You know
dicks
what?
where you're like, I don't care if I'm straight, dude. That's a good dick.
I love
you know,
Cudi though. He's like one of my favorite artists, like biggest
Yeah.
influence.
That movie is a great meditation on sexuality and the way that we sexualize youth and just like just so many. There's so many themes in that movie that are just so incredible and like understated. And I remember we saw that movie in theaters together, Josh, and you cried.
oh, I did, yeah.
Because it was like such a dark and like that's me with, well, Connor's made fun of me for it, but I fucking sob at Mike Flanagan shows.
Especially Hill House.
Hill House, I cried really hard.
and Midnight Mass.
Midnight Mass, I was for 2 episodes straight. I was shaking.
I got
and
home
crying.
from work one day and ended up catching like the last like 10 minutes of Midnight Mass because I just walked in from work and they were watching the rest of it and Patsy's just sitting there going, "Fuck you! I fucking
the whole
hate
time
you!"
I was like, "Fuck you, Mike Flanagan, you fucking asshole." It's the most okay. Like I was raised Catholic. Connor was too, which is why I feel like he really needs to see the show. But have you seen Midnight Mass?
I have not.
Were
I
you
was
raised
also
religious?
Catholic.
Okay. Good luck. That's all I'll say.
I
I
was born in a big Italian family, a bunch of fucking
Yeah.
Catholics.
Good luck watching that show.
Yeah.
Because as a Catholic person who no longer is in the church because of traumas and things that I endured, that show is very scathing. Incredible, but it's incredibly scathing, specifically at the Catholic Church. Christianity as a whole, I would say, it's a very big kind of like expose on some of the manipulation tactics that exist in Christianity, but as a whole, it is a very direct call out to Catholicism, and it hurts. It really hurts. I think literally that last episode, I don't think I was not crying for any of it because it was just genuinely. It was like, and I don't cry a lot. I say that like I
Didn't
cry
you
a
say
lot.
at the beginning?
I say I cry. I don't cry like about normal shit.
Yeah.
Like if I'm like, oh, my life is so hard and I'm going through some really hard shit, I will emotions completely non-existent. But like when it comes to like a show, there's something about it being like a thing that like I am not directly experiencing that like I'm able to actually like access those feelings. There's like a big wall. It's the same as like writing a song. It's like if I write a song, I can see my emotions. And then if I watch a show, they fucking... Oh, dude. Oh,
Yeah,
I remember that. I'm just remembering the end of Midnight Mass, and I'm just like, fuck you, Mike Flanagan.
Yo,
But
Midnight Club is gonna destroy. It's the saddest one by far. Even the premise is devastating.
I don't even know what it's about, but I'm gonna go.
I'm not gonna tell you, but oh my lord.
But tying up Mike Flanagan, yeah, that's funny.
I hope we're not doing that.
No, what you were talking about of like tying in themes of like grief and like mediation, kind of reflection within horror, has become such a big thing within horror as a genre over the last like decade since I don't know, the Babadook came out and everyone was like, what if the monster was grief all along? But I don't know.
Which the Babadook did an incredible job of.
No,
which is why
it's a
my
great
favorite
movie.
horror
I even saw a fucking tweet about it the other day, and it's something I've said before. The effect that the Babadook has had on horror as a genre has been fucking immeasurable.
Yeah.
No matter what way you look at it. However, Mike Flanagan, as someone who's only seen the movies he's done and not the series,
You'd really like the series.
he does a very good job of conveying that in a different way than what if the monster was sorrow over a lost loved one. Because I'm tired of fucking seeing that trope. But Mike Flanagan does a really good job of presenting things in a different way, and I think that's dope.
Because the monsters for Mike Flanagan are real.
Yeah.
It's so the thing that he does that I think is cool is he will have a family drama where they have real issues and normal people issues, and they just so happen to be living in the most haunted house in the world.
Right. It's sad because someone's dealing with addiction and this other person's dealing with abuse and this person's dealing with whatever, but it's also in a goddamn Scooby-Doo Where Are You mansion, and it's incredible. Mike Flanagan's great because he does this thing that I think is a little stale, or that I think is stale in other mediums, where it's like he will take those darker themes, explore them, but instead of it being like, oh, this thing is representative of it, it's like, this thing is it. Like this, like I won't spoil any of Mike Flanagan's work, but like something that he is very good about doing, and that I'm sorry to belabor this. It's the reason this is important is because I think seeing Mike Flanagan will definitely I think for this next record will definitely give you a deeper understanding of kind of where a lot of it's coming from, because a lot of it was like deeply unlocked for me from seeing shows like Bly Manor and Hill House. Is like he's able to take like these monsters and these like, you know, ghosts and creatures and people that exist, and it's like that person is not grief, but they are there because they are grieving.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that thing exists, that feeling of like that, like, for example, a ghost existing exclusively because they can't move on is the saddest goddamn thing I could ever think of. You think like a ghost, like ghosts just like, oh, someone died and they have like a purpose that they can't fulfill. I'm sorry, bitch. What if that purpose is that they never got to like get married to the person that they love, or like they never got to like get closure on like something that happened and they're like, that's so sad, bitch. That's so sad, because people that live and are alive deal with that shit. And like the fact that like, anyways, whatever, I could talk about it for hours and hours and hours.
So I actually have a question, 2 questions actually. Do y'all have any music videos out, and do you think that with that record you could have some music videos inspired by like
Yes. 100% yes.
Mike Flanagan's work?
We do have a music video out, not for this record that just came out, Hurting Healing, but for the first one, a song called Rockin' a Hard Place, a video that I am not in because I was not in the band.
It does not look like themselves.
It was a very long time ago. that video is out, and we just shot a video for one of the songs on the LP that is not out yet.
Should be the first single.
Should be the first single. It is being edited now. We shot it. Did I say what it is? It's kind of spooky. Yeah, we're in the woods, and the song is called Die Young, and it's about dying young. And Pat is in a grave and is singing directly into the camera whilst being buried alive, which is...
got in my mouth.
Yeah, a lot.
And in my shoes in my face.
Jeez. That's dedication to the craft.
But that looks pretty sick. We got a drone shot of it. It's badass. And then for the B shot, we're performing, and it's in the middle of the night in the woods, and there's like a big bonfire behind us. And we're increasingly being covered in blood. And at the end, we light the drum set on fire and lay dead in front of the drum set, and it's badass.
And I'm supposed to point this out. The drone footage that we got was done by Brian Huff, and he is licensed in his drone things. He was very particular. He said, "All these fuckers fucking do drone music video shoots, and none of them are licensed, and it's kind of dangerous. So hey, you know what? If anybody asks, hey, I'm licensed."
And he's good at it.
He's very good at it.
Some people who have licenses for things are not good at the things in which they have licenses for, like driving, but he's good at it.
Yeah. But he was very insistent. Like, whenever you talk about
marriage.
Whenever you talk about the drone shots, tell them I'm licensed, because, god damn it, I worked hard for it, okay?
Yeah.
Not to drone on about his
drones.
But I just wanted to throw out there that he's very talented and licensed.
Yep.
Yeah, we have a music video. And then for the next record, yeah, like, definitely we've talked about, like... I mean, it's not an entirely, like... Most of the stuff we put out is very high concept. I feel like this next record probably won't be super high concept, but it'll definitely have some, like, themes of, like, paranormal. I really want to do, like, some paranormal shit with this next record. But that's just because...
We're going to get a real live ghost in the video.
We're going to capture a ghost.
No, you're just gonna kill
With Post
me.
Malone.
If you are listening to this podcast and you are a ghost and feel like being in a music video in like 2 to 3 years, let us know. If you are still on this mortal coil, trapped between heaven and hell in 2 to 3 years, or purgatory, or whatever comes next, because who knows who among us. But if you're still around and drifting and haunting and
And you're at the bottom of a lake.
and you're at the bottom of a lake, not unlike the ghost in Bly Manor,
Wow, spoilers.
hit us up. Bleep that out. Hit us up and
Genuinely?
genuinely
Doesn't
bleep
help
that.
me out.
It doesn't change the fact that you should watch it.
No.
Hill House better though.
Loki, yeah. It's
They're both good. But
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Nothing beats Hill House watching it for the first
Bly
time.
Manor
Yeah.
resonated with me more, but I think that Bly Manor resonated with me more, but I definitely think that Hill House is more of a competent show.
You should talk to Jay about those shows.
Jay hates them both.
I have, yeah, it's
Jay
not
hates
productive.
like all of them. No, I think Jay was like, Hill House is great, and then the last episode fucking ruins it. And I was like,
Wrong.
I was like,
Wrong.
No,
like,
the
Jay's wrong.
ending is the most insane.
Yeah,
like,
it's
tied
awesome.
full circle. Like, oh my.
Or maybe it was Bly
fucking
Manor.
goodness.
I'm
No,
not sure
it
which.
is Hill
I'm not
House
sure
that
which.
Jay doesn't like, because Jay is like, oh, it's not like it's not how the book ends, and yes, I've read the book as well, and I don't care. It's good.
Well, Taylor agrees with Jay. So I'll say
That's fun. Well, Taylor's not here. If Taylor wanted his very specific opinion on this show that doesn't matter to be heard,
Yeah.
he wouldn't be working right now.
I wish Taylor was here.
I wish Taylor was here so bad. Please come, Taylor, come.
He's here in spirit.
Be here.
Do what?
Don't bring gas to the venue.
Don't bring gas.
Yeah, get your time machine. You know.
All right. So, what are your guys' goals for the future?
To still be living.
Get money. I was gonna say get bitches, but I don't want to get bitches.
You don't?
No,
You gotta get bitches.
I don't get bitches, and I don't really want bitches.
Wow.
What do you want?
You want to explore that?
I feel like saying get bitches is very misogynistic to say. So I don't want that. I want
Form
to
meaningful relationships.
That's exactly what I was going to
which
say.
I care about.
I was going to say I don't want to get bitches. I want to foster positive mutual connections with femme-aligned individuals and non-binary persons.
Heard.
Amen.
Based on mutual communication and comfortable boundaries.
Respect.
Heard.
I want to find a listener of this podcast who runs a record label, and
Also,
I want to
Prince merch.
And doesn't bring gas.
and who prints and doesn't bring gas. Don't bring gas to the venue. It's probably a little gas. You could. Anyway, you could as a treat. Yeah, a little gas won't kill you. Probably.
Just kidding.
For legal reasons, probably it won't kill you. And that T-shirt's probably magic, or hoodie rather, probably a magic hoodie. What else do I want to do?
You want to promote
Going to war.
Yo,
Josh
So-
wants to promote going to war.
he said go on tour.
He said
He said go on tour. God damn it!
Don't.
Tightening
You're gonna do it again.
No, I'm fixing it. It's not bad if it's better when I'm done.
Yeah. In case it gets edited out, Josh fucked it up earlier. So.
God, this is so embarrassing. This is the most
Yeah.
embarrassing.
At least Josh didn't say going to war because he thought he heard going to war.
Yeah. You're both really pulling some.
It's like that little Diggy music video. He's like, you fuck with the war?
You fuck with the war?
Josh loves the war.
This bitch don't know
Probably.
about Pangea.
Brain.
Yeah, I want to go on tour. Booking is so fucking difficult and infuriating.
It sucks ass.
If you are a booking person listening to this podcast and want to book us a tour in February to Florida and or Texas
Or both. If you can make it work.
simultaneously, hit us up and we'll pay you with money. That is not monopoly money, and
Actual
we will
money.
also pay you with gas. That we will be very specific about the locations that you are allowed to take the gas, but we will give you the gas. And I want to go to war with young people because, to recap, we hate young people. We love old people. That hoodie is magic. We love Mike Flanagan and all his endeavors. And
Kid Cudi's got a hog.
we want him to live forever. Kid Cudi got a fat hog. If that hog is real in the
Just
movie
watch the
X.
movie. It is like big enough to where it's like 50-50 if that's real.
Yeah, it's like Willem Dafoe in Antichrist, where he had to get a stunt penis because his penis was distractingly large, and they wouldn't put it in the movie, so they got a smaller stunt penis to be in the movie. That's a real fact.
The exact quote is that they were confused
Yes.
by how large his dick was.
Yeah, it's
And-
it's an unfathomable dick.
And I don't know how big it has to be for people to have to like visibly go,
Well,
huh?
you
What's up
do
with
see
that?
his dick in The Northman, and it's pretty big.
It is pretty
so.
fucking big.
I guess that's the answer.
Confusingly so though?
Yeah,
Apparently.
it's kind of shadowed.
And finally, Patsy wants to foster positive, mutually communicative, positive boundaries set connections with femme-aligned individuals and non-binary persons.
So if you're one of those and you want to form a connection with Patsy, hit them up
Don't do it through this medium.
and don't bring gas on the date. Connor, what are you trying to get going?
Yeah, so I'm just trying to play shows that I actually enjoy playing, like shows where people are.
real answer. Fuck.
Yeah, what can I say? I'm a very serious person. No, I just want to play some energetic shows where people like fucking moving around. People give a shit.
Dancing, grooving.
I mean, more so moshing,
Shaking what their mothers did
especially
them.
for the other two bands. I don't know. If people don't mosh to those bands, it sucks.
Yeah. We're talking about the
We
Thunder
get some
Bombs.
small pits at bigger shows sometimes.
No, I prefer
blow.
whenever people mosh to this band as well. But specifically, if no one moshes to Caregiver, I'll probably cry. And if no one moshes to Achilles Heel, I do cry.
Baby, you know I'm gonna mosh to.
because it
You know I'm gonna mosh to
sucks.
Caregiver.
I know, but
You know I'm gonna beat someone's ass.
the point is, I just want to play a whole bunch of shows that people have a good time at and people seem to give a shit about. Want to go on tour. Want to try to make enough
Audio
of
tree.
I want to do a fucking audio tree. Shit.
Yeah,
Um,
that'd be cool.
that's a goal, which
What's that?
we should really fucking
Audio
apply for
Tree
that.
is a, well, they do it on YouTube, but they just bring in bands from kind of everywhere, and they just do like a show in the studio. So they'll do like 5 or 6 songs, and it's really well recorded. They broadcast it live every time they have a band, and it kind of started as like a mixing exercise where they would like try to mix it live and make it sound really professional and stuff. And then they started posting the VODs and stuff. They'll remix it, make it sound all professional.
Yeah.
But it's cool, and cool bands are on it, and I like that thing that they do.
Yeah, that one I still rewatch every now and then.
Yeah, Let Live is very good.
Fucking miss
That's a
that.
good band. Listen to that band.
Yeah, wish that band still existed.
We'd really like to do an audio tree at some point. Just like to get to the level where we're able to make an audio tree and people aren't like, what?
Yeah,
that.
more than anything, we want to grow as a band. I think that's just the umbrella.
Yeah, like the idea is like eventually to at least make enough money to where we can just fucking do this. Like,
Yeah,
I think
make a
I think that is a very easy to get behind goal.
At least for a few years, yeah.
I feel
Because
you.
Because I don't know if you want to work with me at the security company for the rest of our lives.
No, I do not. But
Yeah.
I do. I was saying this to my friend the other day. I like my. I love my job. I like working shows and stuff, but I don't want to rely on it. I want to
Yeah.
work the shows that I want to work and work on music, do the podcast and like that's what I want to spend most of my time doing.
1,000%.
And that's just like it's just finding the balance between it right now because you gotta pay rent and you gotta fucking
Yeah, and I mean I'm
feed
a
yourself and
during the day. It's at night. Fuck. I'm a cocktail bartender, and I love booze. Like it's something that I do have a passion for, like spirits knowledge, mixology, and all that type of shit. However, it'd be lovely to be in the position to where I can just choose where I would like to do that, and not go, oh fuck, I will continue to look for something really cool within that, but also I need to work at this place this amount of time per week, and then also try to juggle 3 bands worth of fucking commitments.
Yeah.
Shit makes me want to die, and I don't. You know what? My goal in the future is to wake up and go through a week and not have a single moment where I go, early dirt nap sounds fucking good.
Jesus Christ.
You know, that is the actual end goal. I will say.
I feel that also in the way like how most people like look forward to the weekend. It's like they live for the weekend.
Yeah.
I want to not give a fuck what day it is. Be like I don't even give
Bingo.
a fuck what day it is. I'm just out here doing my thing. Like
Yeah, it's going to be good no matter if it's a Wednesday.
like today was a Monday. I wasn't like fuck today. I was like
Yeah.
I got the day off.
Yep.
I get to meet some new people.
There you go.
Get to learn more about you and the group, and it's just like fuck it, man. Like I'm just
Yeah.
living the dream out here in Tennessee and just making connections, and like I love the podcast just because it just helps me do those things. It helps me network. It helps me engrave all these positive ideas that we've been talking about. Those cliche things that
Right.
always seem to come up, like say, enjoy the journey, not the like fuck the destination. Enjoy the journey of getting to where you want to go and being present and just like living in the moment. And that goes to I guess like. Who gives a fuck what day it is? It's only ever right now, and we're doing the pod.
The journey
Fuck yeah.
or the treasure is the journey you take to find it.
And the friends you make along the way.
Haven't heard that one.
It was on a
similar.
fortune cookie.
So one more question for you guys before we wrap this thing up.
Love it.
What are the biggest lessons you've learned recently or in life? Like, what is like the big life lesson important to who you are today?
I'll start this one off. You do not need to constantly feel as though you do not need to constantly worry if you are making people mad, or worry that people are upset with you, or worry that you've pissed somebody off, or worry that you've done something wrong. Because the reality is that most of the time, if people are upset with you, or you have done something to upset somebody, or you have done something wrong, it's kind of on them to like talk to you about it, or let you know. If they actually like value you, they'll like talk to you about it. And I say this because I'm an anxious person who I assume that people are upset with me, or that I've done something wrong way too much because of, traumas. This is such a funny word. Just because it gets overused a lot, but
It's real, though.
people, no, it's a real thing that like you start to be like, you have this like mental insurance that's like, oh, I'm going to apologize for existing and taking up space all the fucking time. And I'm just going to consistently apologize for who I am and, what I've done when no one has said anything to me. And it's like, the second you can like unlearn that you have to feel bad for just being, and that like if people have an issue, they'll just talk to you about it, like, or they should, you know what I mean? Like that's a reasonable expectation to have. I feel like, like,
Absolutely.
Hey, if you're pissed off, dude, let's talk about it. If you are pissed off and you don't want to talk about it, I mean, you could also tell me that,
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I don't know. People, it's not to say that like everyone needs to communicate all the time, but that's a lesson that I've learned recently. Definitely is like, I don't need to apologize for just like existing and taking up space. Like, if someone needs me to be sorry, if someone needs me to have, take accountability for something, either I'll know it myself because it's clear, or, they will have give me the dignity of telling me about it. You know what I mean?
That's real. I can relate. Yeah, I'm definitely an overthinker of everything.
I'm like,
did I say the right thing?
Did I annoy you? Did I make you upset? And it's like, well, I guess I could just sit here and guess forever, or I could just like, just not give a fuck. And then if you told me that I was annoying, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll go into a different room now. At least then I can like change my, I can do something if you talk to me about it. That's a big lesson that I'm working through that right now, because I'm definitely the flavor of anxious where I'm like, consistently, I'm like, oh dude, like everyone wants me to die right now. Everyone wants me to squash myself into a little box.
And even then that's you gotta know that's not true. And
I mean,
like there are people that,
even if it is, people should tell me that.
True, but there are people. Well, what I'm trying to like compare it to, I guess, is like there are always gonna be people that care for you and love you and like you for who you are, and then there are people who don't. It's like, who gives a fuck about the people who don't when you have the people that do?
Yeah, I think as long as I'm doing right by my moral compass and I'm treating people well, I think if anyone's upset with me, they can tell me.
Agreed.
If I'm being an asshole and I'm doing mean things and whatever, maybe that's on me to be a little bit more aware. But like, if it's shit like, oh, you said something that like made me mad and like you meant it in jest and like, but like like, hey dude, like just talk to me about it. Like we could just talk about it.
And it seems that you're pretty aware, so that's not the problem.
Yeah. For the most part, at least.
Sometimes being too aware is a problem, because that's where the overthinking
Bitch, oh my God.
comes.
Oh, there was a period of time in my life where it was literally like all the time I was just so in my own head and just like, get out of there, dude. Like, just be a person for a minute and stop over intellectualizing every single feeling you have so that you don't have to experience it for real. Sorry, anyways, that's another thing. Don't over intellectualize your feelings. Actually feel them. All right, I'm done.
That was good, though.
I guess mine, and I don't know if this sounds like it's out of left field or anything, but the biggest like thing I've read recently that kind of just like made me think really hard or took me aback was, it doesn't fucking matter what your body looks like. I think there's been a big movement in the past few years of you got to love what your body looks like, body positivity, you're beautiful, you got to believe your body is beautiful, it's a journey to self-love. And I don't know about that. I think it's a lot easier and also a lot healthier to not put value in what your body looks like, and not have that be a pillar of loving yourself. I think
body neutrality.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
about your
I don't know if I had the
character?
word to describe it, but I think it is so
You don't have
much.
to be an advocate for your
Yeah, I think it is so much healthier to realize that every aspect of who you are as a person is more important and more valuable than what your body looks like.
That was well said, dude. That's true.
I think
quality,
your
character.
passion, the way you care about people, the way you take care of people in your life and in your community, what you have to bring artistically, what you have to say politically, I think all of that is way more valuable to yourself and other people than being skinny or muscular or hot or whatever you're trying to achieve with your body. I mean, take care of yourself, make the machine keep running, I guess. But,
Probably.
but like, I don't know. I am a person who has had a hard time overcoming what my body looks like. And I don't know. Not forcing yourself to be positive about something you inherently have an issue with, but just learning not to have an issue with it at all and realizing that the thing you view as a problem doesn't matter at all. No one, your friends don't care what your body looks like. They love you for all the other things that you are. And I don't know. That's something that I read recently.
Yeah, instead
and
of creating a positive, you're eliminating that.
eliminating a negative. And I think that's a lot healthier and more sustainable. I don't know. I don't know if I said that very well,
No,
but
you
I
did,
think
bro.
yeah.
You nailed that. I think. Dude.
I don't know.
That's
It's something I've been grappling with recently, and yeah, I guess it is body neutrality.
Yeah, I can
but just
relate.
that kind of idea just blew my mind of like, this feels so much easier to believe than forcing yourself to like something is just realizing how much it doesn't matter. I think there's a lot more truth in that. It doesn't feel like tricking yourself into changing your mind on something. It is just eliminating it as something that should be a problem to you.
I think body positivity definitely serves a role societally for, like the idea of like that. I think body positivity exists more so as a way of deconstructing beauty standards that exist and we can't deny, where it's like, I think body neutrality is something that you can apply and practice towards yourself, whereas body positivity is more of like it is a movement where it's like, instead of saying that like, people misinterpret what it means, I think a lot too, like, because I think a lot of people like, it's not saying that like being fat is like, there's this whole idea that it's like glorifying fatness, or like it's glorifying, like having stretch marks, or like a lot of the times it's applied to overweight people. And I say this as an overweight transgender person, like body positivity, a lot of the time it more so is functioning as neutrality, where it's less of like, I am incredible and perfect. It's more like these things that are considered negatives for my body are arbitrary and made up and truly have no bearance on what makes me valuable and beautiful, because beauty is something that exists outside of, as all things that are beautiful exist outside of a standard common like rubric of aesthetics. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I think, like someone would be like, I don't like red hair. It's like, okay, there's a million people that love red hair and think it's the most incredible, beautiful thing ever. To say that like, oh, because I have red hair, I am gorgeous and I am perfect because I have red hair. It's like, well, okay, that's interesting, because like there's people that will disagree with you. But I think it's much more, makes a lot more sense to say that because I have red hair, that does not define like that outward appearance is not defined by like these standards that have been like projected onto me. You know what I mean? And I think that like body neutrality is like an overarching idea that I think body positivity can exist within, as like a. To me, body positivity is more like a fuck you to people that are like, you're fat and you're ugly. It's like, no, I'm fat and I'm kind of awesome and cool and hot.
And I can ride a skateboard and do cool tricks.
Yeah, and I'm also like, you could, some people are really into fat people.
Yeah.
Super subjective. Everyone's
Yeah, exactly.
beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
I love that though. That is a great quote though of like, just truly does not matter what your body looks like.
Absolutely. I would agree. It's more about the character and who you are as a person.
Yeah.
And that's like just important. Focus on those things. If you focus on how like good of a person you are and how good of a person you can be to others, then everything else is gonna take care of itself.
I guess that's really what it boils down to. It's instead of me trying to force myself to love and find value in the way that I look, I just shift that into finding value in the other things that make me me. And I think that is a lot more worthwhile. But anyway, Connor, what have you learned recently?
All right, so I don't have any good advice, but I have.
But I have some bad advice, and it's to bring gas to the vineyard.
Yeah, totally. Bring gas. Ties in perfectly. Yeah, sometimes going through life, going through certain situations that you're in, whether it be, it's a lot of time with working relationships, but also with your own mental health. Sometimes getting through to the next day is a beautiful thing and something to strive for. Sometimes just kind of saying fuck it and just rolling through is the best you can hope for, and that is fucking okay. There was a philosopher, Albert Camus, who was part of existential.
That guy makes cigarettes.
Was part of existential thought, specifically absurdism. So that was funny.
Camus,
but was part of absurdism. So the entire idea was like, within existentialism, the idea of nothing mattering. Like, if there's no God, why do we continue to exist? Shit like that. So that was the absurd. Like, that, the entire idea of existence is absurd. Everything that we see in the world, absurd. Every issue we have, absurd. So Camus answered the question of, okay, if there is no God and there's no fucking point to anything, why not just, check out? His answer was, well, I wake up and I ask myself the question of, I could kill myself or I could have a cup of coffee. And that's the idea. The idea of continuing to exist. The idea of rebelling against the absurd is just the ultimate act of humanity. And that is what makes existing worthwhile, is simply the idea of continuing to exist. So, that is a philosophy that has gotten me through a lot of periods in my life. Yeah, really sad place to go there. But
no, it's hopeful.
It is hopeful.
Indomitable human spirit.
Yeah,
that persists throughout all negative.
And also, I think if
Calls
you
to the
make at least one step each day, even if because I've been there, I was super depressed 5 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And now I still am depressed.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm older now.
But I'm older now.
So depressed, but
And
it's
I'm
5
in
years
Nashville.
later.
And I'm in Nashville.
Yeah,
Hey.
I'm in a different state.
Yeah, no, but my life's gotten immensely better in those 5 years, and I had to work through stuff, and it started with taking one step at a time, and then maybe there was a day, and it's also where people say success isn't linear or growth isn't linear, where it's like I might have a great day one day, and then I might have a really bad day, and it's okay to just
It doesn't always
It's-
look good
take that
either.
time.
And that's what I mean by sometimes the idea of fuck it is a perfect ideology of just fucking get through the day.
just get to even if
Just-
that means just taking the day off and just
Exactly.
fucking
Like
doing what you need to do.
like sometimes you just gotta look at it and just go,
Yeah.
fuck it, it'll be fucking fine.
If you're walking and you continue to walk, it is statistically likely that you'll get
Keep
to a
walking.
place you like better than the one you're at.
True.
Yeah, you could sit and grovel, or you could walk with your hurt ass foot. You know what I mean? It's like the idea like you're chipping away at something, and as long as you're continuously chipping away at it, eventually it'll
pan out. Perhaps.
It'll pan out.
I feel that hard. There were times when I was super depressed where I was beating myself up, and it didn't help me anyway. It held me back. It pushed me back farther. And it's like, why did I ever even do that in the first place? Because now that you start doing things that are positive, even if that's that one thing, you start growing, becoming better instead of beating yourself up and making yourself worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the other piece of advice, and this is also very good advice, is if you're not straight edge and you drink whiskey, please drink good whiskey. If you drink Jack Daniels, just stop. Become straight edge. You might as well. Because holy fuck, you are a fucking idiot.
You must have
Anyways,
a piss kink if you like Jack Daniels, because that's what that shit tastes like. Drinking pee, piss boy.
if you like
Drinking
the
your
idea,
piss in the mouth.
if you like the idea of caramel put into a bottle of piss, and then they just let it ferment and then threw it through a still, yep, you might like Jack Daniels. And also, you're a fucking idiot.
I have no opinion on Jack Daniels. This is me repeating and regurgitating thoughts that I've heard from Connor to help him in his point.
But yes, if you're, the piece of advice truly is, if you are not straight edge,
Keep going.
life is
And
Jesus
you're going to
Christ.
make it through just one day.
If you're not straight edge, life is too short to drink bad whiskey and make bad friends.
And don't bring gas to the venue.
And don't bring gas to
I
the fucking
swear.
venue.
Fuck young people.
God, I hate young people. So be old.
God bless the old people.
And watch the Halloween movies and watch
Halloween
X.
Town.
Watch every Mike Flanagan thing, I guess.
Go check out the Low Blow at the East Side Bowl on Sunday, October 30th.
And
Thank
listen
you
to
so
our
much.
music on Spotify and Apple Music, and follow us on Instagram at our Instagram handle, which I do not know,
The Low Blow TN.
the Low Blow TN, and follow us on Twitter at a different handle.
At the Low Blow TN.
It's the same one.
It's the same
I
one.
should know that. There's not even an underscore. It's not
very
even
easy.
difficult. I should know it. Don't follow us on Facebook.
I mean, you can.
You can. We won't be there.
I mean,
We hate Facebook.
That's where all the young
Which is-
people go.
Yeah, all the young people are on Facebook, so we don't congregate there. And if we're wrong about young people being on Facebook, we just won't know because we're not there.
oh, and also, if you are a record label person, a booking person, a management person, or just by chance, I don't know,
If you
a
do-
T-shirt person,
If you do anything that can
Hit us
help
up.
us in any way,
Reach out.
fucking hit us up. Give us money.
Gibby, I'm so sorry I didn't have the money for that monster.
that was so embarrassing.
You
for
covered
you.
me, but I appreciate you, dog. Hope you have a good night.
It was a really good, friendly move to do that.
Oh, and also, we have not shouted out one very important person. Shout out to Chris Mullins, our dear friend, and also the
I like that guy.
director of the music video that is getting edited right now. He's also editing it. So
Shout out to the people
Shout out
we
to that
love. The people we love.
yeah,
You know who you are.
shout out
No
Noha,
names necessary.
Nancy,
Shout out
and
Ophi.
Freya.
Hopefully you don't dump me before this comes out.
I don't love anyone, so I don't have anybody to list.
Jeez.
I don't have anybody in my life.
Taylor.
I do love Taylor.
Hey,
He's so
we
sweet.
all stay loving
Everybody
Taylor.
loves Taylor.
Anyways,
Shout out Jay.
LP1 coming
Shout out
beginning of
Sam.
2023.
Hopefully, dude.
hey, if somebody gives us money
It
and
would
support,
be so cool to put it out on a label, and then they can decide when it comes out. But if we don't get signed to a label, it'll probably be out around then. We'll see.
I hope we get signed to it. Okay, it doesn't matter.
Sign
Anyway,
us to your label.
Hey, that was episode 30 of the
Milestone.
Endless Enjoyment Podcast, the 10th episode we filmed down in Nashville. And it was such a pleasure to meet you guys. I thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
It was so good to meet you.
thank you, bud.
Fuck you,
I
Josh.
appreciated it. I appreciated
Well,
meeting you.
Me and Josh really started talking like the other day at work. Like we've been working together for the past couple months. We really haven't said much to each other.
Yeah, I don't like being at work, so I don't talk to people at work.
Fair.
But I like Vinny.
Hey,
Pretty lame,
much
Josh.
love. But Kevin was the one who told me that you were a musician, that possible guest on the pod. And so we were working side by side the other day, so I had an opportunity to talk to you. We just started talking. I was like, you should come on the pod, dude, and made it happen.
And it was fun as fuck.
And then I
Yeah, I
got
had
to
a
meet
good
two
time.
new people. Dude, it was dope. You guys are awesome. It's a pleasure. And
Nice to meet you, pal.
thanks again for coming on. It was awesome. Like, it was like super funny, like had me laughing, but we also touched on some very important and serious topics.
Yeah, we're still recording.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm gonna co-opt your podcast. Trans rights, baby.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey,
Hey.
hey.
Gang.
Gang. Gang.
We support.
And buy the magical hoodie.
Yes.
It'll make you 10 feet tall.
And make you smell like
I
lavender.
wish. That's not true, but
It'll give you a fat ass.
Jeez.
And if you want one, if you don't want one, you don't have to have one. It's optional when you buy the hoodie.
But please.
You can check the fat ass or non-fat ass option.
You get to choose fat ass or giant hog.
Yeah, you can also get a huge weenie.
They're talking about having sweet tits as another implement.
Yeah, that's not on the website yet, but
That was
they're
another
thinking
callback.
about adding it. You'll grow an extra toe if you want one. You don't have to have one.
You can even pick which toe you want next
yeah,
to.
which toe
Like what
you want-
size.
yeah. And also you'll get $1 million.
You guys are just gonna keep going. This was the same shit was going on before we started the pod.
You'll get $1 million and you'll grow long, luscious locks, and you'll get a PS5.
All right.
And you'll
You
have
guys-
the sickest tattoos.
You guys are
Magically.
some goons.
And
Fuck with you guys.
Goons.
Gooning.
That's a new one.
Y'all,
Y'all seen the Goonies? That's a good ass movie.
Hey, you should watch the Goonies.
y'all got a lot of personality and
That is the sweetest way to phrase that.
it's just
You guys
like
got a lot of panache.
for an emo indie rock band, you just like I don't know, you're not just like somber and over here just like
No, we do that on our own time in our
Yeah.
bedrooms.
Amen, me too.
Yeah, we get all the brooding and meditation out early.
But yeah, I was just saying I fuck with you guys. You guys are
We
just
fuck
some
with
good
you,
peoples.
too.
Hey,
Thank you, pal.
much love. Shout out the pod, EEP, Endless Enjoyment Podcast, episode 30 in the books. We gonna keep it rolling. It's almost a 1 year anniversary.
Hell
We got a
yeah.
couple more episodes to go before then. I think maybe only one more episode before the 1 year anniversary pod, but
Fuck yeah.
that's it. That's all we got. Thank you, y'all.
Bye.
Appreciate y'all.
Bye.
Thank
I
you.
hope you live forever.
Enjoy.
Do
Thank
cool
you.
stuff.
Enjoy.
Be good people.
Be good people.
Yes.